Clients over $1 million in commissions. Let us help you sell and buy your next home. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis. Powered by Window World. FM News Talk 97.1.
California officials call it a stunt. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Governor Jerry Brown moments ago.
The federal government ought to do its job and not blame California for its own inability to solve the problem, whether it's of crime or whether it's of immigration.
Also telling U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions to, quote, shape up after Sessions announced a Justice Department lawsuit over the state's sanctuary policies. Sessions spoke earlier in California. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Lisa, the Attorney General vowed to fight sanctuary laws he says are unconstitutional. In a speech to the California Peace Officers Association in Sacramento, Sessions said federal law is the law of the land.
I would invite any doubters to go to Gettysburg or to the tombstones of John C. Calhoun and Abraham Lincoln.
Sessions also blasted Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf for warning illegal immigrants about a pending ICE raid recently, saying she put the lives of law enforcement officers at risk. Schaaf has said she broke no laws. Lisa.
Meantime, Rachel, President Trump just giving a speech to a Latino group meeting in D.C. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Speaking at the Latino Coalition Legislative Summit, the president touted the role Latino businesses play in the U.S. economy.
And I'm proud to report Hispanic unemployment has now remained at or below 5% for the longest period of time ever recorded.
The president also chastised Democrats for not working to get an agreement done for DACA recipients, saying Republicans are ready, willing, and able to help undocumented immigrants brought to the country as children. Democrats, he said, are nowhere to be found. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Democrats blame the president for pushing broader immigration reform. Heavier snow arriving now in many parts of the Northeast. Some areas could get more than a foot. The damage already done for air travelers. More than 2,000 flights canceled around the country. Fox News, fair and balanced.
I have two categories of clothes, cute and what were you thinking?
Add more cute to your closet and everywhere else in your home with surprising finds from Gordman's. Yeah, Gordman's. We've restocked our entire store with on-trend styles and designer finds at every turn. Load up on super cute shoes and handbags and must-have home decor, all at unbelievably low prices. So get shopping. Gordman's. Bigger deals, smaller price tags.
Walgreens has good news for anyone managing diabetes. We've got your back. That's right. Walgreens pharmacists are here to consult with you in person and answer any questions you may have about new and existing medications. You can even get free advice from our trusted experts day and night at Walgreens.com or the mobile app. Walgreens has all major brands of diabetes testing supplies like Accucheck and Walgreens Trumetrics. That's not just good news, it's great news. Stop by and talk to your Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
97.1 News Time, 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. A death in South County, first considered suspicious, is now being investigated as a homicide. Police say that 51-year-old Jeffrey Brightonfield was found dead in his home in the 600 block of Bayless Avenue at about 4:40 p.m. on Monday. Investigators say that they considered the death suspicious because of inquiries observed over the body. Anyone with more information is asked to call the police department. St. Louis Circuit Court Judge Rex Burleson acknowledged a request by the media yesterday to either schedule hearings or make sure that the media is notified so the public gets all of the information on hearings in the Governor Greitens invasion of privacy trial. Brentwood has chosen a retired police officer with decades of experience to lead its police department. The Brentwood Board of Aldermen approved the choice of Mayor Christopher Thornton to hire Joseph L. Spies, a 32-year-old veteran of the St. Louis Police Department. This news update brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign that you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms.
Have you written a book? Learn how to get it published and potentially sold online and at bookstores. Attention all potential new authors. Call Page Publishing now for your free book publishing kit. 800-470-4833. 800-470-4833.
Thinking of selling your home? Hi, I'm Matt Delhoun with Remax Vision. We dominate Zillow, and because of that, we have hundreds of buyers. If you're selling your home, what is the most important thing you're looking for? All you want is a buyer. At Remax Vision, we sell more homes than anyone in the market and expect 20,000 inquiries, mostly buyers. So call my team at Remax Vision and ask an important question. Do you have a buyer for my home? Call 636-728-9833, 636-728-9833. Remax Vision, 636-728-9833.
A lot can happen during the course of a year. You moved, got married, had a baby, changed jobs, or started a business. Life changes don't have to affect your health insurance coverage. You have 60 days after events like these to enroll in a new health plan. Cover Missouri can help you find the right coverage that fits your needs and your budget. Stay covered. Go to covermissouri.org or call 800-466-3213.
It is home improvement season. There's no doubt about that. And you know what? I know one thing I'm going to have to look into. I was looking at one of my windows the other day, and I saw some of that moisture building up on the inside of one of the panes. What that means is there's a seal broken, and in windows that old, that could very well be cheaper to replace than fix. So as you start looking at those home improvement projects, as you look at your windows, you start to do that spring cleaning, and you realize you've got the same problem, remember Window World. WindowWorldSTL.com, simply the best for less, which means if you start at a great price and you need to upgrade, you're still getting a great price. Window World is one of only 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They come with a lifetime warranty, covers all the parts, any glass breakage, any labor. I mean, even if it's an accidental glass breakage, they're going to come out and fix it for you. They use that double-strength glass that's not commonly found in replacement windows. They're durable. They're beautiful. You can go to the showroom and look at them for yourself. For a free estimate, they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Window World's offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800 or go to their website at windowworldstl.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Here are just a few of the benefits that you will receive on your next VA mortgage by visiting Hero.loan. 100% financing on all VA loans. You will never pay for an appraisal. We meet with you face-to-face to go over the application, and we'll even do all the VA paperwork for you. And the best part, while some lenders take up to 120 days to close your loan, at Hero.loan, we close VA mortgages in as little as 14 days. Hero.loan, the new way to VA.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, Missouri Residential Mortgage Licensee.
This is Christine, recruiter for the VA healthcare system. We are seeking full-time physicians in many disciplines. Successful applicants will provide high-quality, effective care directly to our nation's veterans. The VA is the largest and most advanced healthcare system in the nation. The VA offers competitive benefits, including malpractice insurance, pension, vacation, holidays, and more. Be a part of this winning team and honor our veterans. Call me at 314-488-8252. That's 314-488-8252. The VA Healthcare System. Healthcare for heroes.
This hour of the Marc Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness. NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
The Marc Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Marc Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is The Marc Cox Show.
We're trying to have a DACA victory for everybody, by the way, and the Democrats are nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found. You know the expression, ready, willing, and able. We're ready, willing, and able. They are nowhere to be found.
That's the president addressing a Latino group in Washington today, obviously taking advantage of the fact that he's got a DACA plan and he can't get the Democrats to the table. Welcome into the Marc Cox Show. Happy Wednesday to you. Glad you're with us. We've got a lot to get to today. And Church was just joking with me as I walked in the studio. He goes, wow, not much to talk about today, huh? Well, that's the truth. The Trump administration finally getting around to suing California over their violation of federal immigration law when it comes to these sanctuary policies. This is long overdue. I'm glad to see that Jeff Sessions is still out there and working for us. Isn't that nice? I mean, it's good to get a reminder of that every once in a while. So that's out there in the news. Possibly the biggest news for the greater St. Louis area, the fact that Granite City Steel has announced it's going to reopen its U.S. Steel's announced it's going to reopen its Granite City plant. 500 people will be called back to jobs there over the next couple of years, directly as a result of the president's efforts to protect the United States steel industry. Now, we've debated this for a couple of days. Good, bad, indifferent. We took our Twitter poll. Most people seem to support the president's efforts to rebuild or at least help out the U.S. and not the U.S. Steel Company, because that's the company in question here, but the United States steel industry. You know, there are going to be people out there, certainly conservatives, who disagree with the idea of these tariffs. Wilbur Ross has been out front as saying, you know what, it's not going to have the impact that the doubters are claiming, even if it goes into effect. I'm still not convinced the whole thing will completely go into effect. If they get concessions from Canada and Mexico on NAFTA, they may not need the tariffs for other countries, because those are two of the biggest companies that we deal with. But we're going to talk about that today. We've reached out to the folks at U.S. Steel to get their thoughts on it. They've claimed, they put out a press release on this, that this action this action at the Granite City Steel Company is specifically because a direct result of the president's decision on the tariffs, right? They're going to restart one of their two blast furnaces at their steelmaking facility in Granite City. The additional capacity will support anticipated increased demand for steel in the U.S. from the pending action announced by President Donald Trump March 1st. As a result of that Department of Commerce national security investigation on steel imports. And this is a quote from their CEO. Their Granite City Works facilities and employees, as well as the surrounding community, have suffered too long from the unending waves of unfairly traded steel products that have flooded U.S. markets. And he praises the president's strong leadership in this. But they anticipate calling back 500 employees beginning as quickly as this month, and getting this thing up and going again is a process that could take up to 4 months. I don't know how long it's been shuttered, but they're going to reopen one of the two. These basic oxygen furnaces, require a lot of manpower. That's for sure. So they're going to have to get them up and going. I don't think the president did this because he thought it would immediately create 500 new jobs in Granite City. But we need to look past the tariffs for a minute to the bigger question here. And the bigger question is, because that they even refer to it in this press release, there was a national security investigation looking at the damage to this country or the risk to this country in the event that there's some sort of a major event worldwide that we have to respond to militarily. Is it in North Korea? Have you bought into the belief that Kim Jong-un has suddenly woke up one morning and had an epiphany and is going to give up all of his nuclear weapons? If you believe that, I've got some swampland down in Florida I'll give you a real good deal on. So what this report specifically pointed out was that in the event that we had to pull a Rosie Riveters into the job again and retool American factories to produce military equipment in the event of an emergency, even to harden defenses and electrical boxes and all of that, we wouldn't have the capacity in the U.S. because so many plants like U.S. Steel and Granite City have shut down these big blast furnaces type operations. I only know of this because my father worked in the steel industry for 37 years, so I have just a little bit of background in it. There's more at stake here than just tariffs. And we'll find out, I guess, in the long run. I'm going to get to your phone calls on this because over the course of the last couple of days, as we've talked about this, We've received phone calls here at the program from people who worked at Granite City Steel, who wondered if there's a chance this could mean they may get their job back at some point. At least for some of them, it looks like the answer may be yes. So what happens if a week from now the president says, well, we got the negotiations we wanted with Canada and Mexico, and we don't have to go through with the tariffs? I don't know if that changes U.S. Steel's position on this or not. We tried to get them on the radio today, and lo and behold, they were a little too busy. So coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, 1:10 today, we're going to get Congressman Mike Bost. He's the congressman for that district that covers Granite City. He's a Republican. We're going to get his take on this, the tariffs, what he thought of the tariffs to begin with. Clearly, this is good news for his constituents. We'll get his thoughts on that coming up. I mentioned a minute ago that the administration has sued California. Long overdue. Long overdue. I want them to go after that mayor in Oakland. That's what needs to happen next. Who called and tipped off put out a press release tipping off a community once she was given, private information, secure information that they were about to conduct raids, and she went and tipped people off. So we're going to get Dan Stein on here. He's the president of the Federation for American Immigration Reform to talk more about this Justice Department suit against California. And realistically, they had to go to a court in Sacramento to file this. You know what that means? I mean, the courts in California are littered with left-leaning judges, which is why a lot of groups shop their stays that they're seeking in the Ninth Circuit in California. So we don't know who the judge is where this has been filed. You have to hope that you get one that's got a little bit of common sense. I don't know. So we got that coming up. Guns have dominated what we've talked about here on the program. Rightly so. Yesterday we were able to get somebody from the NRA on talking about hardening schools and some of the other steps that need to be taken and the ridiculous attacks that have gone on against conservatives, against the NRA, against anybody who stands up for the Second Amendment, because we know there's a segment of the left out there that wants to either ban or radically change the Second Amendment, that your right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. They want that changed because they want to infringe. But the conversation that we've been having goes beyond that. That's a threat. I know it's a threat. It's why I talk about it on this program. The other threat to our children is that we send them off from our homes each day into unsecured gun-free zones where they're like a goldfish in a tank for some mentally deranged individual who wants to target somebody like that. That needs to change immediately. You've got to get those schools hardened. We've been talking about that this week as well. Beyond that, the broader question here is one of mental health. I had a counselor in last week who discussed, and you can still find that audio on demand, by the way, on our website, 971talk.com/Cox, or on the Facebook page, The Marc Cox Show. Fascinating conversation, because, what he pointed out was when the issue, you can't paint with a broad brush when it comes to mental health. And we say we need to change the mental health laws in this country. The people that commit these crimes represent a very, very narrow, specific diagnosis on the mental health spectrum. And there's no guarantee that even tightening up our mental health laws would catch these individuals if they've completely fallen through every law enforcement and school crack that you can think of, like Nicholas Cruz did in Florida. Still no guarantee. But on the broader issue of mental health, what are we doing in our schools to address depression and other mental health issues among children. And as a parent, if you're a parent or a grandparent, how do you feel about that? There's a proposal out there. There's a company who's working on getting this into curriculums across the country that as early as their freshman year of high school, so starting at maybe 8th or 9th grade, roughly, part of the curriculum would be screenings for depression, like universal screenings for depression among kids in school. And I thought that was a fascinating concept because a lot of what they're talking about there is preventing teen suicides. The teen suicide rate, it's outrageous. If you look at the number of gun deaths among juveniles every year, by far, one of the biggest causes of death among juveniles is suicide. Far more than gun violence. Now, some of those suicides may be committed by guns, with using guns, or a variety of other sources. And you know, my point is, I personally know people who've lost children to suicide. My son had several acquaintances in high school who that happened to, grade school and high school. And, you know, this is one approach. I think a lot of people in my generation, are going to worry that you're going to stigmatize these kids if you do this. And that's going to be part of the argument here. So we're going to get a guest on here, Ryan Beal, who's the CEO of one of the companies trying to do this, coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, about 1:25 today. So I hope you can join us for that conversation. And in the 2 o'clock hour, my friend and yours, Annie Fry, from the Annie Fry Show, is going to be in here. We'll be talking about the vote that was held in the House in Illinois yesterday to limit magazine capacity. Because, you know, if you're a liberal and you're in Illinois, you've got to have some sort of knee-jerk reaction to say you did something, even though it will have zero effects. So we'll get Annie in here to talk about that. Liz, why don't we go ahead and get to the short list, please?
The short list brought to you by Bill Thomas Camper Sales. Find your camper at btcamper.com.
We're cautiously optimistic. We have a great partnership with our South Korean allies. We're going to continue working with them.
Porn star Stormy Daniels suing President Trump, seeking to invalidate the non-disclosure agreement she signed just days before the 2016 presidential election, preventing her from talking about their alleged sexual encounter.
The Trump administration is filing a lawsuit tonight against the state of California, charging that 3 recently passed state laws are interfering with federal immigration enforcement.
Some of the stories we're going to be talking about, we'll get to some of your phone calls as well here at 314-969-9797. Again, Dan Stein, the president of the Federation for American Immigration Reform, is going to join us in about 15 minutes or so. Stick around. We'll get to more of your phone calls. You're listening to The Marc Cox Show.
Marc Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com. Dependable weather.
Clouds take control today. Chance of a couple of spotty
with Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray.
Brought to you by Air Comfort Service. Is it time for a new heating or cooling system? Get in your comfort zone with 0% financing for up to 72 months. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, St. Louis, it's time for you to get cleaned up at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Brentwood on Hanley Road, just south of Highway 40, or O'Fallon on the corner of Highway K and Fisey Road. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Hi, this is Tim Surdike at Surdike Harley-Davidson and Street Track and Trail in Festus. Riding season is upon us, and Surdike is the gatekeeper to all your riding fun, both on and off-road. We've got a huge selection of all the hottest models of Harley-Davidson, Textron Off-Road, Arctic Cat, and now E-Z-GO karts too, plus tons of pre-owned Harley-Davidson. And the thing that makes Surdike Harley-Davidson and Street Track and Trail unique is how we feel about service. Tim Surdike means service. Service to you, our customer, our community, and our nation. And now service to your new ride, too. You get 1 year free service on your new Harley-Davidson Textron Off-Road and E-Z-Go products. Just put gas in it and ride. Come into Serdike Harley-Davidson right now for our Harley-Davidson blowout sale on all pre-owned motorcycles. We have loads of bikes that could have you riding the Harley of your dreams for about $100 a month. And they are priced to sell right now. Only at Serdike Harley-Davidson, 2 miles south of Festus on US 67. Tim Serdike means service.
At Tactical Shop, we're not a gun shop. We're a social media community with over 2.6 million fans, followers, and subscribers. We sell over 18,000 products from 300 brands like 511 and Bravo Company. We have over 200 t-shirts from Grunt Style, Ranger Up, Rogue American Apparel, and more. We sell Black Rifle Coffee, and now we carry Strike Force Energy, a healthy and highly effective alternative to energy drinks invented by a Navy SEAL. Tactical Shop, I-70 in St. Peters, and our new website, shop.tacticalshop.com.
Hi, I'm local tax attorney Lance Drury, and I've represented hundreds of individuals and small businesses in disputes with the IRS. So if you've been contacted for past due tax debt or haven't filed taxes in a while, contact me, Lance Drury. And because each client's case is unique, we'll meet face-to-face and go over your tax situation in detail. Together, we'll develop a strategy to resolve your tax issues. I'm experienced, I know your rights, and I'll give you honest answers. Under my 8-point plan, my firm will file the necessary forms needed to resolve your issue with the IRS, and you won't have to worry about talking to their agents. I'll negotiate on your behalf to get you the lowest settlement allowed by law. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we want to make sure that you're satisfied with the outcome. So call me now, Tax Resolution Attorney Lance Drury, 314-238-7360, or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. Let me throw some numbers at you. Let's start with the number 3, as in fixed rates still in the 3s. Next number, 0. Because you can pay 0 closing costs, 0 lender fees, 0 appraisal fees, 0 title fees. How about more zeros, as in 0 PMI? If you're in the market to buy a home, we can get rid of the dreaded private mortgage insurance, giving you a lower payment so you can get a better house. Next, 5, the number of minutes it takes for you to get a rate quote and a preliminary loan plan. Now, the number you need to unlock a better mortgage. My phone number, 314-336-6050. Whether you are buying a home, refinancing, or need to take cash out, call Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, 336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC. APRs in the 3s. NMLS 224143250-353.
Blues fans, this is Cardinals broadcaster John Rooney. Opening day for the Cardinals is right around the corner. The pitch, a swing, and there's a high fly. But it's still hockey season. He scores! And I bleed blue, too. Join us for Cardinals Night with the Blues on March 27th when the Blues face off against the San Jose Sharks. Get a free Blues Cardinals baseball jersey by purchasing a theme ticket using the code CARDS18. You must use the code to get the jersey. So get your tickets for Cardinals Night with the Blues at stlouisblues.com/theme.
There is an intoxicating drug.
Sean Hannity.
Stronger than heroin.
Weeknights 7 to 9.
Crack. It's called Trump hate. And they wake up every day ready to hate.
On FM News Talk.
The drug of choice.
97.1.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring.
You're listening to The Marc Cox Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire.
Look at a candidate who brags about his F rating from the NRA. And just a couple of weeks ago, Congressman O'Rourke tweeted out to the world how proud he was that he has an F rating from the NRA. Not a D, not a D minus, not a C, an F. And I happily retweeted it. I said, look, we got a choice. And if you're running to succeed Nancy Pelosi in San Francisco, that's a great thing to be tweeting out. Those are the values of that district's voters. But in Texas, those are not the values of Texas. And that's why at the end of the day, I think we're going to see a very strong election day in November.
Ted Cruz there talking about this Beto O'Rourke, who won the Democratic primary in the Senate race in Texas to run against Senator Cruz. And, you know, the dude is a big gun control advocate in Texas. So Cruz comes out firing on him like, you know, it's ridiculous. Do you not? I mean, Cruz, let's put it this way. Let's just get this out of the way up front. Ted Cruz got more votes in the Republican primary than all of the Democrat candidates got combined in the Democrat primary. Just to put it all in perspective before you understand this. But here's what the media is fired up about. Ted Cruz is running a campaign commercial against this guy, and it's just a jingle. It's a jingle on the some Texas song, some song that's famous in the state of Texas, right? And the title of it is "If You're Gonna Run in Texas, You Can't Be a Liberal Man." So they've redone the lyrics on Alabama's "If You're Gonna Play in Texas" is what it came up. Here's a little bit of it, and you can hear they're mad at him because he jokes about the guy going by the nickname Beto, B-E-T-O, instead of his name, which is apparently Robert. I don't know why Robert goes by Beto. Doesn't really matter to me, but it's funny in the lyrics. Listen.
I remember reading stories. Liberal Robert wanted to fit in, so he changed his name to Beto and hit it with a grin. Beto wants those open borders and wants to take our guns. Not a chance on earth he'll get a vote from millions of Texans.
I guess it's Beto and not, I can't think, I calling him Beto? You know what?
I think it's Beto.
B-E-T-O. You heard it in the lyrics. I don't know. I worked in television for a long time, and they used beta tapes.
Yeah.
B-E-T-A. So I guess I'm mispronouncing his name because of my bias on that. But
no, I think it's
I'm
pronounced
just saying.
Beto.
What's the Beto? Is he Hispanic or something? What are you saying that with an accent for?
I don't know, because I think that's how it's
you're
pronounced.
kind of racist. I can't believe that you
I'm
would
not, no.
say that with an accent.
Okay, my bad.
Beto.
It's Beto. There you go.
It's Beto, man.
Beto.
All those boys in Texas don't care how it's pronounced. I thought it was pretty funny. They really were giving Cruz a hard time, not a surprise, on CNN over this jingle. Seriously. Ignoring the fact that this guy doesn't have an ice cube's chance in hell against Ted Cruz in Texas. Listen.
You're absolutely right. My name is Rafael Edward Cruz. I am the son of my father, Rafael Cruz, an immigrant from Cuba who came to Texas with nothing. In terms of the jingle, some of it is just have a sense of humor. I mean, you actually miss the title of the song, which is, if you're going to run in Texas, you can't run as a liberal man. And the whole point of the song is, well, you know, we had to, we had some fun with it.
Thank you.
Can't we have a little humor once in a while?
Thank you, Gary. See, even Gary Johnson understands that every once in a while you have to have a little humor about these things. The big story in Texas yesterday was the Democratic wave. The number of votes, on Democrats were off the charts, and these were all primaries. But what they don't want to focus on is the fact that I told you a minute ago, is that Ted Cruz got more votes than all of the Democrats combined who were running in the Democratic primary. This is much ado about nothing, and that's kind of where they're going on this. It's kind of embarrassing, quite frankly. I'm going to talk about the NRA again here for just a minute. I don't know if you saw it or not, because it's starting to make the rounds right now. But Dana Lash, who of course used to be on this radio station, used to be in this time slot, come to think of it. Dana works for the NRA now. We all know that's not a secret. And she has gone out and is apparently starting a show on. She's apparently starting a show on NRA TV. Did you know that, Liz? So that's the story, is that she's starting her own show on NRA TV. I don't know if the Beck thing went south or not. I'm not in touch with her these days. I can't really speak to that. I don't know why. But it's not a surprise, given the fact that she worked for the NRA already, sort of as a spokesman, that they would find room for her on their, internet television deal. That's not a surprise. But one thing we're going to talk about coming up here is that she's put out an ad. The NRA put out an ad, and the thing about it is it calls out the media. Calls out the politicians, calls out the athletes who've been kneeling during these football games, and the left has lost its collective mind over the fact that they've put this ad out. They call the ad ominous. It's an ominous ad, and the funny thing about it is that none of the media coverage of this speaks to the truth. And I'm going to play the ad for you when we come back here and let you listen to it. We're also going to talk to our friend Dan Stein from the president of Federation for American Immigration Reform. But the reason I want you to hear this is nobody acknowledges the fact that all this ad is. All it is, really, is a promotion for her upcoming NRA TV show. So at the end of the ad, she says, "Time's up," and she turns a little sand, one of those, sand things upside down, so the sand starts running out of it, the sands of time. And she tells them that time's up. I'll play it for you now. Listen. Hold on. Here we go. Where is she? Here we go.
Represents to the politicians who would rather watch America burn than lose 1 ounce of their own personal power, to the late-night hosts who think their opinions are the only opinions that matter, to the Joyanne Reeds, the Morning Joes, the Mikas, to those who stain honest reporting with partisanship, to those who bring bias and propaganda to CNN, the Washington Post, and the New York Times, your time is running out. The clock starts now.
That's it. And then the words come up on the screen that her new show comes to NRA TV. So it's clearly a promo for her upcoming show. And instead, all of the national media is carrying it as an ominous recruitment ad for the NRA that dares to slam athletes and Hollywood phonies and journalists. What they are is simply dishonest. If they were honest about what this ad is, it's a promotion for her new NRA TV show, which is coming up. It's not a physical threat against any of those people. She's just telling them that she's coming to NRA TV with a show where she's going to call them out. Folks, the media in this country, the mainstream media, in many cases, is so dishonest these days that the term fake news doesn't even describe it anymore. I'm stunned by what I see with them sometimes. I don't know who their publishers are. I don't know who their editors are, but there's such a bias these days. This particular story that I just played you, that headline, is in Newsweek. And it doesn't, I don't see anywhere in here where it points out the fact that this is only a promo for her upcoming television show on the NRA TV. It's just so dishonest these days in the mainstream media. 314-969-9797. More on the lawsuit that Jeff Sessions is pushing, is now filed against the state of California and their sanctuary city policies, coming up on the Marc Cox Show.
love.
This is the Marc
It's
Cox
a burning
Show.
thing, and it makes a fiery ring.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Clouds giving way to more and more sunshine as we go through this Wednesday. It's windy, though the winds will be fading as we go through the afternoon. And it's quite cold for early March, 39 degrees for the high. It's a bundle-up day. Tonight, clear skies, light winds down to 25. Thursday, partly sunny, light winds and cold, 42. Lots of clouds around on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You know, when opportunity knocks, you've got to open the door. It's knocking right now if you're going to have to paint your house coming up sometime this spring or summer. It's always good to get it done early, and then you can enjoy the summer with your newly painted house. And Rhino Shield is offering a great deal right now. That's what I'm telling you about. Opportunity's knocking for a few more days because you've got until about the 17th of this month. So this 20% off offer is good until March 17th. You call Rhino Shield at 877-25-RHINO. They come out to your house, they give you an estimate, and then they subtract 20% off. It's a great deal, and it's not going to last all summer because they're going to start getting booked up, and then they're not going to need to knock the prices down. So it's a permanent exterior ceramic coating. You never have to paint it again. I've had it on my house for 10 years now. Looks great. It just seals up the outside of the house. It looks like regular paint. Beautiful color combinations you can pick out. But once it's done, it's done. You're done with it. And you can hand off the warranty to the next person that buys your house. They're not going to have to paint either for a long time. 18 months special financing with no interest. Mention Mark. You'll get that 20% off savings until the 17th of March. Big winter savings. Call them at 877-25-RHINO or check out their website at 877-25rhino.com.
Watch the Marc Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
If you're retiring in the next 5 years, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, First Vice President Investments with Stifel and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday from 11 till noon on FM News Talk 97.1. Retirement is a huge step, and when it comes to investing your retirement assets, you can't afford to make mistakes. It's vitally important that you work with an experienced professional to guide you through important retirement decisions. If you're retiring soon, we should meet to develop a clear plan for your retirement goals. Your meeting is an opportunity to understand your retirement situation and discuss how you can proceed. Of course, your consultation is free of charge and requires no obligation on your part. If you're retiring in the next 5 years, now is the time to start planning. To schedule your free retirement plan review, visit bobstockdale.com or call me at 636-448-7655. That's bobstockdale.com or 636-448-7655. Stifel, member FINRA, SIPC, and NYSE.
Marc Cox here, inviting you to join me, Thomas Helbig, and Mark Close for the Protecting Your Retirement educational event Thursday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 now to reserve your seat. It's a seating limited event, so you need to hurry. Here's Thomas with more.
Do you know how to retire in this market and your possible options regarding rolling over your 401k and other retirement accounts? Are you wondering what to do with your retirement plans during all of this volatility? Do you know the latest strategies for increasing your return, eliminating your risk, and increasing your retirement income? Do you also know how to protect your assets in volatile times and help maximize the legacy you leave your heirs? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss this special event. See you Thursday, March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, along with me and Mark Close at the Frontenac Hilton Thursday, March 22nd at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 or visit retirementkey.com.
A lot of nasal congestion, especially at night, facial pain, pressure.
Cynthia suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She was fed up.
I was in my primary care physician's office and she was prescribing another course of antibiotics. And I think at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. There has to be some other option.
She set an appointment with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called balloon sinuplasty.
I was home within a few hours and back to work the next morning. I could breathe so much easier, especially with activity and at night, being able to sleep a lot better. My energy level was increased, being a mom and being able to be more active with my little one. At least to me, that was the most important thing.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Call 314-449-8761. 449-8761. That's 449-8761.
Jamie Allman in the morning.
Hey, it's a happy Thursday. Kennedy joining us from New York. We've got Ed Henry as well as Jim Talent and our buddies from 4204.
On FM News Talk
97.1. Listening to The Marc Cox Show. Follow the show on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Marc Cox Show.
Immigration law is the province of the federal government. It's in the Constitution. This administration and this Justice Department are determined to make it work effectively for all our people. I understand that we have a wide variety of political opinions out there on immigration, but the law is in the books, and its purposes are clear and just. There is no nullification. There is no secession. Federal law is the supreme law of the land. I would invite any doubters to go to Gettysburg or to the tombstones of John C. Calhoun and Abraham Lincoln. This matter has been settled.
Wow, Jeff Sessions laying it out there in California, where he went today to announce this lawsuit against the state of California and these sanctuary city states over 3 different pieces of legislation in California that he said directly interferes with federal immigration policy. Dan Stein is joining us right now from FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform. He's the president of that organization. Dan, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for giving us some time today.
Hey, well, Jeff Sessions is always worth talking about. He's really taking it to some of those folks in California who need to understand that they're part of the United States.
Well, I'm glad to see him come out swinging like this. The thing that always strikes me about this, and I know sometimes both sides of the aisle are guilty of this, but when a former governor down in Arizona, they passed some laws where they were going to start stopping people and asking them their immigration status with local police officers, the Obama administration went to court to prevent them from doing that because they said that was strictly the purview of federal immigration law. So they've been making this argument before, and suddenly they want to ignore it.
FAIR worked very hard in Arizona to help pass SB 1070, which all that really did was have Arizona officials seek cooperation with the federal government in order to turn over removable aliens to the feds to put them in removal proceedings. So it really wasn't anything other than actually working within the current federal immigration statutory scheme. And that should be perfectly permissible. But yeah, they found a judge, Judge Bolton, down in Arizona, in the Ninth Circuit, who said, states can't do anything to force cooperation or anything. It was a ridiculous decision, very political. Well, here you've got California and other states actively interfering with federal immigration enforcement, setting their face at total defiance to the idea that our borders should be controlled, that we should limit immigration. It's absolutely wild to believe that you have a mayor in California who warns people who, including criminals, people who are felons, people who've had final orders of deportation, had their day in court, and then refuse to honor our judicial system or respect our laws. And she's out there giving them advance notice. So about 800 criminals were able to abscond because of the ICE operations where they had an advance notice of the ICE operations. This is obstruction of justice. This is felony harboring. And Sessions needs to take the gloves off, and we're so glad he's doing it because this is what Trump promised he was going to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What do we know, Dan, about where they filed this suit? They had to go to Sacramento, I understand, to the Capitol to file this suit. I assume in the federal court building there. That's always a shot in the dark in California, isn't it?
Well, of course, it's an opening. Anytime you're in the Ninth Circuit, you have to realize that there's going to be a battle. Xavier Becerra is a longtime immigration advocate who served in Congress a long time. Now he's a state attorney general, and he knows very well what the law is and what the obligations of the state are. But the Department of Justice has a lot of resources, and I think we have to assume that this is the first of many lawsuits DOJ is going to file against many states, perhaps Maryland, probably New York State, probably New York City. This is just the beginning of a long process. But politically, it's also so important, too, because, the Democrats want it both ways. They want to try to pretend that they're for law and order and border control, and they'll fund border security. But then they want to turn around and basically adopt policies that seem to be destructive of any aspect of the rule of law. And so, Sessions is a smart guy. He understands that the Ninth Circuit's a tough haul, but it's an opening shot. I've wondered about this. If somebody's an elected official and they receive notification from their local police department about a raid that's coming up, and they call the drug house and tip those people off, I would think you would risk being charged with some sort of a crime in doing that. I wonder realistically if there's anything they can go after this Oakland mayor over. Well, felony harboring is very clear in the federal statute. Anything that you do to facilitate an alien's remaining in the U.S. illegally, if you know that person is in the U.S. illegally, it's felony harboring. If you remember Linda Chavez, a long time ago, she was nominated for Secretary of Labor in, I think, the George W. Bush administration, and she had a nanny working in her house who was here illegally. She knew she was here illegally. She provided her room, board, probably paid her, slave-like wages.
Right.
And, she had to withdraw. Why? Well, because that's basically felony harboring. Well, if you have a mayor of a city who's doing everything possible to accommodate, incentivize, reward, and encourage illegal immigration, at the same time trying to actively interfere with federal operations by tipping off people, that's obstruction of justice. That's harboring.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. We're talking to Dan Stein from the Federation for American Immigration Reform. The DACA debate, I've talked about that a little bit on the show yesterday. The president spoke to a Latino group in Washington today where he pointed out, I've given the Democrats what they wanted on their half of DACA and more, and they still won't come to the table. I'm trying to get a deal here. Now, what he's wanting to do, I don't agree with because I think it amounts to amnesty. But what's your position on where we are with DACA at this point?
Fair's position is we oppose amnesty in all its forms. We did that in 1986, and about 7 times since then, and we ought to profit from experience. Patrick Henry said the land of experience ought to guide us here.
Right.
So we shouldn't make the same mistakes we made in the past. And what Fair has basically said is, look, Trump went out there and he said, I'm going to double down on certain things, but I'm going to give the Democrats a 2 million person amnesty, and this includes some recalcitrant Republicans, too. It's not just Democrats. But he said, if they're serious about getting a deal, let's see if they'll come to the table. And Fair's position is until the Democrats show they're actually interested in getting a deal, they're actually interested in cutting some kind of responsible compromise, then Trump shouldn't even be talking about DACA amnesty or any kind of amnesty. He should be demanding Congress help him fulfill his campaign promises, none of which included an amnesty of any kind. And we're all focused on things like sanctuary cities, interior enforcement, E-Verify, eliminating chain migration, getting rid of the lottery, finally fixing some of the mess that, is basically been in the making for the last 40 years. And then once you get those things passed, if you want to talk about maybe some hardship cases or people who've been here if they were brought here very young, fine, but that doesn't mean that they can then turn around and petition a whole bunch of relatives and bring in aunts and uncles and cousins, brothers and sisters. So, it's a matter of what I guess we would call sequencing and priority. Trump is setting the right standard. He's enforcing these laws. It's not just criminal aliens, but people here illegally who are getting in removal proceedings. And the funny thing about this whole debate is that if you take a look at Democrats' positions over the last 25 years, they have radically changed. I mean, sure, they were always a little squishy on illegal immigration. They supported amnesty in '86. So did Ronald Reagan, I guess.
Right.
He signed the bill. But the positions right now in California, Dianne Feinstein is getting hammered in the primary process for taking positions 25 years ago that were mainstream Democrat Party positions, and today the radical left has taken over the party, and they're trying to knock her out, primary her, because the party itself has radically changed, and yet there's no accountability for the fact that since Samuel Gompers, the Democrats cared about protecting American workers, protecting about American jobs and families, making sure immigration, helped the country, didn't hurt the country. Now it's like, oh, bring them all in. Doesn't matter legally, illegally. If they come illegally, give them a green card, let them move, get them into the voting booth. It's crazy, and yet there's no accountability for this.
None whatsoever. Listen, Dan Stein, well said. I appreciate your efforts on this front, and please keep us up to date. I'll direct people to your website to get educated on this at fairus.org. Dan, have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.
Absolutely. Did you hear what Dan Stein pointed out to you there? If you haven't read about this, it's a pretty stunning development. I mean, honestly, unless it's Bernie Sanders, who's a socialist, there are few people in Washington, D.C. more to the left than Dianne Feinstein. On her assault weapons, ignorance, and all of this stuff. She, is from San Francisco, just ranks right up there with the farthest of the left almost. She may get outdone by Elizabeth Warren. I don't know, but you see my point. And she's not crazy liberal enough for the crazy liberals in California. They're trying to primary her out of office, because she's not done enough to defend illegal aliens and take away guns. That's all I can figure. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. I'm telling you what. 314-969-9797. It is not your father's Democratic Party. I'm just telling you that. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to get to Congressman Mike Bost from Illinois. The Granite City Steel Plant is in his district, and they're going to add 500 jobs. It has a lot to do with these tariffs, and we're going to talk to him about his position on it and get to your phone calls. 314-969-9797.
This hour of the Marc Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness, NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
If it's time for you to put a little extra money in your pocket, consider a refinance with Golden Oak Lending. They got millions to loan. They've got average mortgage rates in the 3s right now, so you want to lock that in while you can. But, the bigger question is, did you leave 2017 behind, but 2017 is still calling because you have debt that you incurred last year that you need to pay off, need some extra money in your pocket? First of all, if you refinance, if you find it, the right mortgage rate, you could have a couple of months with no house payment at all. Right? That's normal. On top of that, you've rolled in a couple of high-interest credit cards that you've run up recently, but you can use the equity in your house to pay that off and then start paying on it on the same low mortgage rate that you're paying on your house. Can't beat that. That's what they do at Golden Oak. They'll give you a free mortgage checkup. Call them at 314-567-GOLD. Again, it's 314-567-GOLD. Let Golden Oak Lending cure your blues. Their NMLS number is 114937.
This weekend in St. Louis, the St. Charles Boat Show at the St. Charles Convention Center, March 8th through 11th. Your favorite Lake of the Ozarks dealers all on hand with boats, boating accessories, and big winter savings on all brands of new 2018 personal watercraft, pontoons, runabouts, luxury yachts, and more. Thursday, March 8th through Sunday, March 11th. Only $9 for adults and $5 for children 6 to 12. Under 6 are free. Get more info at stcharlesboatshow.com. The Lake of the Ozarks Marine Dealer St. Charles Boat Show, March 8th through 11th.
All right, well, the home and garden shows coming up all over the place. I think Belleville's got one coming up this very weekend. When you're out and about, you're considering some home improvements, include Granite Transformations in that search, because you're going to love what you find there. You're going to find, number one, top-of-the-line quality. with their engineered granite, their engineered quartz, their recycled glass, their Italian marbled look. You need to see what this looks like in person. Go to their booth at these home shows. If you can't do that, call them. They'll come to you. Or just go to their showroom down at 1750 Finn Park Drive in Fenton. Make it part of the plan. Maybe you've had granite for a while. You want to upgrade to a different look. That's why Granite Transformations is such a good idea. They can have your countertops installed in a day once they're built. Call them at 636-728-1100 or go to their website at granitetransformations.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Marc Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Marc Cox Show.
Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk, 97.1.
See you in court. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's what U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is telling California, suing the state over sanctuary policies.
Contrary to what you might hear from open borders radicals, we are not asking California, Oakland, or anyone else to actually effectively enforce immigration law.
Sessions says he just wants them to stop obstructing federal enforcement of those laws. But California's governor is deriding the Sessions announcement made in Sacramento as a political show. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal is live in L.A.
Lisa, Governor Jerry Brown blasted the Attorney General.
This is a political stunt.
Brown and California's Attorney General argue the state's so-called sanctuary laws don't get in the way of immigration agents doing their job. They just don't help them out.
I do think this is pure red meat for the base.
They insist the 10th Amendment gives them the ability to specify how the state works with feds on immigration.
This Attorney General maybe he's trying to keep his job because the president is not too happy with him.
Brown said Sessions should apologize to the state, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. You can hear more on this with Jessica on the Fox News Rundown podcast tomorrow morning at foxnewsradio.com. The school shooting suspect in Florida is now indicted. A grand jury just formally charging Nicholas Cruz with 17 counts of murder for the Valentine's Day shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School. Also 17 counts of attempted murder. Cruz is 19 and a former student. He could face the death penalty if convicted. His public defender has already said he'd plead guilty if that's taken off the table. The second nor'easter in less than a week could dump over a foot of snow in some areas from Philadelphia to Maine.
We could experience a very intense burst of snow. This phrase says a lot, thunder snow.
New York Mayor Bill de Blasio moments ago. Ripple effects around the nation with more than 2,000 flights canceled. Fox News, fair and balanced.
It's the little things, like the perfect party. You guys. Or getting fired up for 3 days of doorbusters at Goodies and Peoples. That's right, it's the Goodies and Peoples One Big Sale. And this Friday through Sunday, you get 40% off in-store and online with your coupon. Get yours online in today's deals, and then get into Goodies and Peoples to find yourself a fun new look for spring. Fresh styles, big savings, and fun perks every day. Goodies and Peoples. Little things mean everything. Goodies and Peoples are part of our Stage family. Offer exclusions apply.
Walgreens has good news for anyone managing diabetes. We've got your back. That's right. Walgreens pharmacists are here to consult with you in person and answer any questions you may have about new and existing medications. You can even get free advice from our trusted experts day and night at Walgreens.com or the mobile app. Walgreens has all major brands of diabetes testing supplies like Accu-Check and Walgreens Trimetrix. That's not just good news, it's great news. Stop by and talk to your Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
97.1 News Time 103. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. While the House committee met looking into the criminal indictment against Missouri Governor Eric Greitens yesterday, the governor was in Howell County meeting with Missouri Department of Conservation staff who are working on the state's Black Bear Project. The governor posted the story and pictures of a bear cub on his Facebook page. Over 1,000 people showed up at an EPA meeting to discuss cleanup of the Westlake landfill last night in Bridgeton. EPA officials presented a number of plans to clean up the radioactive waste, including a partial removal plan. Most residents voiced support for a total removal. The EPA estimates that total removal could cost up to $455 million. Missouri's prevailing wage laws may soon be a thing of the past. The Republican-controlled Missouri House narrowly endorsed a plan on Tuesday to repeal the laws. The action may prompt a Democrat-led filibuster in the Senate. This news update brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign that you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms.
If drugs and alcohol problems are hitting you too close to home, get help right now. Your insurance may cover everything. Locations everywhere. Get help for drug and alcohol problem within 24 hours. Call 800-430-4149. 800-430-4149.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
Been a while since you've enjoyed the ridiculously good taste of Lion's Choice real roast beef? Well, lucky for you, it still tastes exactly the same. Awesome. Lion's Choice, famous for a reason.
And speaking of awesome, we're getting down to brisket at Lion's Choice. Introducing the Crafted Braised Brisket by renowned St. Louis chef and 2015 James Beard Award winner Gerard Kraft. For a limited time, only at Lion's Choice.
That's the secret phone. The what? Remember? I told you my dad's a shelter agent. When that phone rings, he rushes out to save the day. Whether someone's home or car gets damaged, my dad is always there to help. He has the coolest job ever.
Well, my dad's an astronaut.
That's cool too, I guess.
Find your insurance superhero at shelterinsurance.com.
A lot of nasal congestion, especially at night, facial pain, pressure.
Cynthia suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She was fed up.
I was in my primary care physician's office and she was prescribing another course of antibiotics. And I think at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. There has to be some other option.
She set an appointment with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called balloon sinuplasty.
I was home within a few hours and back to work the next morning. I could breathe so much easier, especially with activity and at night, being able to sleep a lot better. My energy level was increased, being a mom and being able to be more active with my little one. At least to me, that was the most important thing.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Call 314-449-8761. 449-8761. That's 449-8761.
This hour of the Marc Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of the Marc Cox Show.
The Marc Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Marc Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is the Marc Cox Show.
To apprehend and deport those, especially the criminal element, effectively rejects all immigration law. It's a rejection of law. And it creates an open borders system. It's the only way it can be described. And open borders is a radical, irrational idea that cannot be accepted. The American people will not accept it.
The Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, part of his comments today out in Sacramento, California, where he announced the lawsuit that the DOJ's filed against the state. We talked about it last hour with the Dan Stein from FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform. You can go back and listen to that interview there on our website at 971talk.com/Cox or on the Facebook page, The Marc Cox Show. We'll get all that posted up there for you. Also posted some information on the Facebook page that we actually talked about on the show yesterday with Chris Arps. If you've been following the Eric Greitens case, you know that Kim Gardner has apparently been unable to find investigators and or prosecutors, law enforcement locally, to help with the Greitens case. So she's just gone outside of the system. She hired people from some private security firm to go to the Capitol and interview people. She has now gone and hired some guy who was very active in the Mike Brown case to be part of the team, which is quite interesting when you look at his background and connections to George Soros and some other issues like that. And I posted that story up on Facebook earlier. So go to The Marc Cox Show, MarcCox, The Marc Cox Show on Facebook. You can read that information. You can like the page, and you'll get updates in the future when we post stories and interviews to that page. Hey, you can follow us on Twitter at MarcCox971. Use the hashtag MCS971 when you post your comments, and we'll get them up here on our social media board in just a couple of minutes. A little later this hour, we're going to talk to Ryan Beal. Ryan is a psychologist, and he is endorsing an idea to do universal depression screening for every teenager in America, like in the high school. Not directly as a result of the shooting in Parkland, but it certainly speaks to mental health issues and depression and suicide rates among teenagers and a lot of other issues. So we're going to get to Ryan coming up before the end of the hour here. And we're also going to talk to Annie Fry in the 2 o'clock hour about the gun bills pending over in the state of Illinois that would, among other things, limit magazine capacity, and there's no grandfather clause. So if you own something with more than 10 rounds in it, this becomes law. You become a criminal unless you turn it in. Fascinating what they're doing these days across America. We'll get to all of that and more. A short time ago, U.S. Steel announced that it is going to reopen at least a portion of its facility in Granite City, one of its 2 furnaces, and that should result in about 500 employees who've been out of work who are going to be back on the job. That's big news locally, and a lot of it has to do with these tariffs that we've been talking about that the president was going to impose on steel and aluminum. Congressman Mike Boss joining us right now.
Hi, Mark. Good to be with you.
How are you, sir?
Good, very good. After the news from this morning.
Well, this is I wanted to ask you about that. I saw you put out a statement on it, and it's certainly great news for some of your constituents in the steel industry.
It is, and let me tell you that when we say tariff, understand that was under the 232, and it was the action under 232 that the president is making his decision. Now, he hasn't implemented them yet, but that alone gave enough security to the industry that we're going to stand up to try to bring that industry, actually control those countries that are illegally dumping. And rather than going to have the World Trade Organizations, which we do on a lot of this stuff, we will be able to react for security of the nation.
Well, Speaker Ryan and a few others have come out and claimed this is a non-starter. They're opposed to any tariff for any reason and claim there's going to be a trade war. What's your take on that?
And let me tell you that under the 232, the president has the ability to select by country and direct it to individual countries. Now, I don't know whether the president is trying to use it as a card to play on other issues. I don't know that. All I know is that we got a great response from the company to come back and put their people back to work. And when they decide to do that, that's not something. See, it takes almost 4 months to fire that furnace back up to its full potential. And so you don't exactly go in and throw a switch and say, let's put 500 people back. You go in and you start turning it up, and you got to make sure that there's going to be a market. So they're seeing something in the marketplace that says, yes, they can go back to producing steel. Now, is that from the tax incentives, or not tax incentives, but the tax reform that we did? Is it from the fact that they can make these investments? Is it from the fact that they see remember what Granite City makes is the rolled steel that is then used in oil production, and so maybe they see things coming back there. But they did say specifically it was because of they're watching the president with this 232 action. Now, like I said, what the president finally does with the tariffs, I think that there will be several people talking, making sure that I believe that it will be targeted towards certain countries.
Yeah, and I've looked, Congressman, at the Department of Commerce 232 National Security Investigation Report.
Yes.
If for people that would take the time to read it, you should be a little alarmed at the loss of capacity in the steel industry in this country. And maybe it's because we've got a younger generation now who doesn't know what has to happen in that industry in terms of national defense in the event that we get in a major altercation somewhere.
Well, the real concern, and I was in that meeting with the president when we were discussing the use of 232 a couple of weeks before he decided and before the Commerce Commission report came out. And what we discussed is there's two areas. One, what Granite City Steel produces, what U.S. Steel produces out of Granite City, is for domestic oil production. We put ourselves in a bind if we're only using Korean steel.
Right.
The other issue is there's only one plant left that produces a certain type of wire that goes into our transformers, and everything else is produced in China. Can you imagine if we had to depend on our power grid by China and China alone? That's a very dangerous situation to be in.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. I'm not a fan. I'm a free market guy.
Me too.
But ultimately, you've got to look at that national security concern. And I'm with you. I'm kind of convinced, and I think Steve Mnuchin as much as said it this week, if Mexico and Canada will just come to the table on NAFTA, right, we might not have to do this.
Right. And I think that's, like I said, I can't speak for the president,
right,
but, he is the ultimate deal maker. So,
yeah.
and you start at a place and then come back, to the middle, usually.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see. I even had phone calls this week in discussing these tariffs from people who were laid off. I had a lady who called in and said, I wonder if I'm going to get my job back. I thought I was going to work in that industry till I retired.
Right.
And then, they shut the plant down again. So,
right.
Hopefully she's
think
one of the
about
500.
This. That Granite City Steel plant has been producing steel since the 1880s and had only one layoff up until this time.
Yeah. True.
So it's vitally important to the nation.
It is, and just so people understand that, you mentioned it's for rolled steel. They call it a BOF, the basic oxygen furnace, is the one where they take the raw materials in and produce the big steel ingots
Correct.
and things like that. And you can't do that in some of these recycling plants. Some people seem to think that, well, we have these smaller recycling plants, we can recycle steel.
No, you can't.
It doesn't do that.
This is the real steel plants that you see when you see pictures of them and say, oh my gosh, look at and that's what it is too. Whenever I told you, it takes about a 4-month process to turn these up. And we're hoping that the markets do well enough that not only do they turn this one up, but they turn up the other furnace as well.
Let's hope so. We're talking to Congressman Mike Bost from the 12th Congressional District over in Illinois. The focus in Washington right now on gun control in the wake of this Parkland shooting. Can you kind of tell us what's going on in Washington this week?
Naturally, there is several of my colleagues that would go down that road. I will not. I believe that, first off, the Parkland had a whole lot of problems with law enforcement.
Sure.
Reporting problems. But the thing that I'm working on and have already been working on and was working on before this is a Safe Schools Act. And the Safe Schools Act, it has ability for quick notification of a situation if it goes awry with panic buttons. Also, now we're working with other colleagues that had other bills to sensibly look, I was a firefighter, and we can protect our children from fires in schools. We should be able to protect our children from fire in school. And we've got to make sure that those laws are put in place. We make the investment in our local schools to make them safe. Now, we can do that without removing the rights of law-abiding citizens. And we have to be very diligent in remembering exactly what our Constitution says. And those of us who take these offices raise our hand to uphold the Constitution. And that isn't just part of it, it's all of it. And so we've got to make sure what we do does not violate any rights that are in that Constitution.
Couldn't agree with you more. So I guess as part of that, and I'm always leery of, after 9/11, we built this huge bureaucracy called the TSA, and I wish we hadn't have done that. But is there any discussion of making maybe federal grants available for schools to hire more, officers or security of some sort to be in these schools?
Yes, and that's where we're looking at. That's what we're looking for. Make sure that we work with our schools to. You wish it wouldn't have to just have one entrance or all controlled entrances. And a setback. But we do it here in the United States Capitol. Why in the world wouldn't we do it for our kids in their schools?
It's got to be a priority. In your state today or yesterday, the House was voting on a bill that would limit magazine capacity, among other things, and outlaw anything over, I think, 10 rounds.
Right.
Now, I don't know that the governor would ever sign it.
And it happened in the state of Illinois whenever I was there.
Yeah.
Many people try to write gun laws that do not understand what guns are. Okay, they have a fear of guns. Therefore, their answer is to ban them. The reality is that there's a reason why the Second Amendment is in place. We must wisely make sure that we protect the Second Amendment, but yet make sure that our schools are safe. Make sure that we do mental health and background checks thoroughly. All of these things, but when you start down a path where you're talking about confiscating private property, that was legal today, and you're going to ban it in one state tomorrow, you got to watch that.
Couldn't agree with you more. Listen, Congressman Mike Bost, I appreciate you coming on today and talking about the U.S. Steel situation. And
well, thanks for having me on, Mark. I really appreciate it. And
absolutely.
We're so happy for those people going back to work.
Very good, sir. We'll have you on again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Congressman Mike Bost from Illinois 12 talking about this Granite City deal. Try to get somebody from the steel mill. Maybe we can still work that out. I'd like to get their point of view on what all was involved here. They specifically talk about the tariffs. But, did the tax breaks have any impact on it? We don't know. 314-969-9797, the phone number down here. 866-455-9797 is the toll-free number if you want to call in. When we come back, speaking of school security, and heard the congressman say he's working on his own School Security Act. I think it's something we need to do swiftly. What about mental health reform? I'm going to talk to a psychologist coming up who's got his own ideas about what we should be doing to address depression and other mental health issues with every school child in America. That's coming up on the show. We'll be right back.
The Marc Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
Midnight tea top Jack and her cherry Coke Town.
Hey guys, Glover here. Listen this week for your chance to win tickets to the Supercross Dirt Bike Racing Series going on Saturday, March 17th at the Dome at America Center. Tickets are available. You can listen to the show or log on to 971talk.com for a chance to win.
Naputi Wellness, the place you need to go to really change the way you approach what it means to feel good. Do you wake up every morning, reach for that pill bottle, pop a pill, and then the ache goes away in your back or your knee or wherever it happens to be, and then you go on about your duties? Is that wellness to you? Dr. Eric Naputi has a different approach. I would encourage you to at least go see them and listen to what they're trying to do. They want to fix the cause of what the problem is so that you don't face a lifetime of reaching for that pill bottle or potentially facing surgery one of these days. It really is. They look at the whole person. They look at how you're processing minerals, how your brain is working, your stature. There's some chiropractic that can be a part of the answer there. Maybe they are giving you that Myers cocktail, which is, reintroducing minerals to your body that you're not getting, that you need. There could be a lot of things involved in this, but you don't know until you go. here, Dr. Eric Naputi. Go to his website, naputiwellness.com. 3 locations on there. The original on Bayless and 55. There's one out at Clarkson and Baxter now, another one in North County in the Florissant area. Make an appointment at one of those clinics. Go in and let them show you what they do. It could make a huge difference in your life. Again, the website, naputiwellness.com.
Hey, St. Louis, it's time for you to get cleaned up at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Brentwood on Hanley Road, just south of Highway 40, or O'Fallon on the corner of Highway K and Fisey Road. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
At Tactical Shop, we're not a gun shop. We're a social media community with over 2.6 million fans, followers, and subscribers. We sell over 18,000 products from brands you love, like 511, Ballistic Advantage, and Franklin Armory. We sell Black Rifle Coffee. And now we carry Doc Spartan Combat-Ready Ointment, fresh from the show Shark Tank. An all-natural first aid ointment developed on the battlefield and perfect for everyday use. Tactical Shop, I-70 in St. Peter's, and our new website at shop.tacticalshop.com.
What if I told you there was a place where you could get advice on that next home project you were working on, or find the answers to what products and materials you needed for the outdoor space of your dreams? A place where you can get ideas and inspiration from quality local companies without driving all around town. Well, you can find all that and more at the St. Louis Home and Garden Show this weekend at America's Center. Advice, ideas, experts, and inspiration all under one roof. For ticket and parking information, visit stlhomeshow.com.
You're staring again, Tom. Sorry, I've never worked with, goats. You've got a few goat co-workers, Tom. Really not a big deal.
It's just that yesterday when I mentioned that Regions Lock It lets me lock my Regions credit, check card, or now prepaid cards if they get lost or stolen, or I suspect unauthorized use.
Unauthorized use!
See, the screaming, it's unnerving.
Oh, like you don't worry about keeping your account safe?
Well, no. Regions Lock It lets me choose how and when I lock my Regions personal cards. I can lock my cards for online, in-store, and ATM transactions until I need to buy something, and lock it again after I make a purchase.
Oh.
See? It's easy.
So there's no reason to panic with Lock It.
Exactly. High five.
5 what, Tom?
Open a Regions checking, credit, or Now Card account with new Lock It. It's secure, easy to use, and customizable. Regions. Member FDIC. Your mobile carrier's messaging and data fees may apply.
Janie Ullman in the morning.
Hey, it's a happy Thursday. Kennedy joining us from New York. We've got Ed Henry as well as Jim Talent and our buddies from 4204.
On FM News Talk
97.1. Listening to the Marc Cox Show. Follow Marc on Twitter at MarcCox971.
Look, I've spent a lot of my life in law enforcement dealing with murderers and rapists and violent criminals. We need to stop these mass murders. Now, if you want to do it, what isn't effective is gun control. Many of the jurisdictions with the toughest gun control laws have among the worst crime rates and murder rates. What is effective is targeting violent criminals.
Agreed, Senator Cruz, talking about gun control. But there are a couple of other issues that we have to move on to, right? School safety, which we've talked about already today, hardening our schools, that is, and the issue of mental health. Now, that's a broad category. And the people who commit these crimes are a very, very small percentage of the overall number of people who might fall into the category of needing mental health treatment for a variety of reasons. Is there a way to start detecting that earlier? Is there a way to impact things like the suicide rate among teenagers, which is just far out of control in this country? About half of adolescents who suffer from depression don't get a diagnosis before they become adults. And that could be part of the problem. Our guest right now is Ryan Beal. He's the co-founder of Therapy Live, and he is a psychologist. Ryan, welcome into the program.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate that. This discussion over mental health, I had a local counselor here in the St. Louis area on last week, and we talked at length about different diagnoses and why when people just refer to the fact that we need to address mental health, that's such a broad statement. It doesn't begin to address some of the specific concerns and very narrow concerns affecting some of the people involved in these mass tragedies. The reason we're having you on today is to discuss the fact that some people believe that we probably ought to be screening all teenagers just to make sure they're not depressed or whatever the case may be, but not necessarily suggesting that all these cases lead to tragedy. Correct?
Absolutely. I mean, the reality is that, what we're seeing and what we hear out of Parkland is, most of these individuals that do these, create this mass casualty situation, they actually won't present with a disorder at the time. So, I mean, the idea that this becomes the face of mental health or mental illness is really a backward step for the conversation of mental health and wellness as a whole. So, 1 in 7 individuals, grades 9 through 12, and this is according to the CDC 2015 report, the new data is coming out next month, is that they actually have a serious plan of how they'd end their own life.
Wow.
So the idea that we can take preventative approaches to not only catch them earlier and utilizing the pediatrician as a line of defense is one piece of a puzzle. So our belief, and as we know in research and what we've done, is we've created a curriculum. It's called Prepare You Mental Health Curriculum, and it literally goes embedded into the health class for 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. Ideally, we want to see 9th grade because there's a huge jump in mental health disorders at that age.
Yeah,
talking about. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was saying that really, when you talk about a mental illness, 49.5%, so nearly 1 in 2 teens meet criteria for a mental health disorder today. So depression is one aspect of it, but you have anxiety, you have social anxiety, you have mood disorders that really there's a broad spectrum. And if we're able to have a better environment of being able to understand and self-regulate, as well as being able to understand as our friends might be struggling, we see that their affect is off. They're not really connected to the things they really enjoy. We're better at being human beings and connecting to one another to prevent it from becoming an issue that becomes a lifelong illness.
Well, why is that number so high? Have we broadened the definition of it so much that it's now 1 in 2 kids who might show some signs of this, or does it speak to a broader problem in our society?
Well, we have opinions, we have research, and we have a little bit of everything. I mean, I'll tell you a couple of my thoughts. One is technology, social media. I know it sounds sounds kind of obvious, but technology, social media, and smartphones, are affecting our ability to even get good night rest. So for teens, at 3 a.m, they could get being pinged by their phone and being bullied. So you're taking the school environment and you're bringing it home even when you're sleeping. So that causes the issue with being able to just detox from stress. In addition, you look at our political climate. I look at things as a system, a dysfunctional family. If you look at all the adults in the room, basically the adults are acting out, the kids are acting out all the anxiety that they're seeing with the adults. So whether you're left, right, or whatnot, we always see when we're treating a child that there's oftentimes, they might have their own issues, which they do, but at the same time, they're acting out the anxiety in the home. So if we look at this as a societal issue, kids are going to be acting out the sense of a lack of security of a future, the lack of sense that they're being heard properly. And so these issues are becoming more prevalent. And I think also we're also waking up as human beings to think that the body and mind aren't affecting one another is kind of absurd. I mean, if you go ahead and all of a sudden you jump into, you have a car zoom by you and you almost get hit, you're startled, guess what? Your blood pressure is going to go up. So the idea that we're actually waking up and not stigmatizing mental health and realizing that body and mind are connected is a huge step forward as people, as a society. So how we engage with each other, how we better understand each other, this is an opportunity. Yeah,
and I think another chasm you have to get past, and you brought up the word stigma, is if you're wanting to put these classes in every high school, particularly at the freshman level, and maybe screen for depression. I mean, there are major issues we could impact here, like teen suicide. I'm all for that. But I think a lot of parents are going to be hesitant that their child is going to be tagged with a mental health disorder as a freshman in high school and what the implication is for that for the rest of their lives, right?
Well, that's a fear. The first off is when they're dealing with a clinician or a doctor, there's HIPAA compliance, there's protection, there's security of their privacy. So what we're seeing within these classrooms is we're giving a safe area for people to learn parallel process, to understand the difference of thoughts and feelings, giving them actual tools of how to self-regulate. So it's not so much to stigmatize individual in the room. However, when we see and we know that these are more common, the kids are very smart. Even if you see with the Parkland shooting, you hear that the kids speaking out. They are more comfortable talking about these subjects than the adults are. And I think that's a positive for the future because it's time that we're able to be more preventative, that we can take these steps, have these conversations. And the truth is the people that are most uncomfortable about it is the adults. The kids are more comfortable. They enjoy this. They're taking psychology as a major. They want to learn about this stuff.
Ryan Beal is my guest. He's a psychologist. He's the CEO and founder of Therapy Live. Are there school districts in America right now that are doing this?
Doing the Prepare You mental health curriculum?
Well, rolling this into classes at the 8th grade or freshman level to start addressing this.
Absolutely. So right now we have schools in Minnesota and Michigan that are implemented. We just came back from the New York State Council of Superintendents, where we presented. So New York State just mandated that all classes K through 12 will introduce and have to have mental health curriculum within their health curriculum. So we see that we are going to be able to positively affect tens of thousands of kids, hopefully starting next year. We already are on the ground, but they are seeing life-changing effects within the structure of their school, of how kids are communicating with one another. So yes, there is change going to happen. This is going to become more normal, and I really commend New York for taking a lead on this, and I think we're going to see a lot of states start to follow.
Well, I think if it even puts a dent in this teen suicide problem, it may be worth the risk because, quite frankly, I know so many people whose lives have been affected by that. They've lost a child, they've lost an extended family member. My son lost several of his associates when he was in high school. He knew these kids. They weren't best friends, but everyone knows somebody who's been affected by teen suicide. Right.
So I live it. And I've done crisis work. I've worked with the people when they tried to take their life or were just about to. So we're not afraid whether these tools will work. We want to see that people are willing to start doing something now instead of having the adults say, we're scared. Because a lot of it, if you imagine, we're taught not to have this conversation in our own homes as adults, as our parents' parents. It was kind of tuck it under the rug, man up, go do what you got to do. And it's not that having thoughts and feelings or figuring out tools to make better decisions is going to adversely affect you. It actually, all the things you want to produce in school, good grades, good attendance, higher graduation rates, all these things through social emotional learning they call, actually improve. So a lot of the issues that we're trying to treat and work on in the society can be resolved by introducing these types of procedures.
Ryan, where can people go to find out more about Therapy Live?
Sure. They can go to therapy.live. If they want to hear about the Prepare You curriculum and see testimonials of the kids' responses, teachers, everything, therapy.live/prepare you with the letter U.
All right. Ryan Beal, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
All right, when I saw that story, I knew it would catch a lot of people's attention, and I think that a lot of parents are going to say, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not so sure that I want that kind of intrusion in my kid's head when they're a freshman in high school. What say you? I know that I'm already getting feedback from Twitter, people saying I don't agree with universal screening for depression unless parents have the ability to opt out. This goes beyond what I feel comfortable with, our friend Hasha. Give me your thoughts on it. 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. The numbers of kids who commit suicide is stunning. When you look at the causes of death of juveniles in this country, it's really frightening how many kids choose that as an option. I don't know that this is the answer. But when I saw the fact that they're trying to do this in some schools, that's why I wanted to invite Ryan on to talk about it. So give us a call down here, and we'll talk about that. Coming up at the top of the hour, I've got Annie Fry who's going to be in studio. We're going to talk about the magazine capacity bill that's pending over in the state of Illinois, and the story we haven't talked about today, which is this Stormy Daniels' claim against the president. It's all coming up on the Marc Cox Show.
This is the Marc Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Clouds giving way to more and more sunshine as we go through this Wednesday. It's windy, though the winds will be fading as we go through the afternoon. And it's quite cold for early March, 39 degrees for the high. It's a bundle-up day. Tonight, clear skies, light winds down to 25. Thursday, partly sunny, light winds and cold, 42. Lots of clouds around on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
All right, so we know that at the end of this month, spring is upon us, and boy, aren't you ready for it? I wasn't ready for this cold weather that came back. I was driving in those whiteout conditions last night. Enough of that. I'm looking forward to the days when it warms up and I can sit outside and have a margarita at Espino's down in the Chesterfield Valley, because that's coming. They even have live music, if you remember, once it's warm outside, and you can sit out there and listen to it on the weekends. In the meantime, they've got a great, dry, warm cantina inside. Sit down and try all their different flavors of tequila. That Dave Glover blended tequila they've got down there is just outstanding. Their top shelf margaritas are off the charts. Really good stuff. In addition to the food, I haven't gotten to the food yet. Food's outstanding. Fresh, creative Mexican food. Chef Espino constantly works to improve on his creations. He's adding new menu items. And you're going to see him walking around in his bright red chef outfit saying hi to everybody. So be sure and stop down, pay him a visit right there in Chesterfield Airport Road across from the theater. You're going to be able to go in there. You're going to sit down. You're going to enjoy your meal, and you're going to be back because you'll soon have a favorite. So be sure and check that out. They're getting back to their specials like Wine Wednesday with half-price wine with a food purchase in case you're out and about today looking for a great place to eat. Don't forget, best catering in town for any party you have coming up, any event at home. It's all right there on their website, Espino's MexicanBarGrill.com.
Watch the Marc Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
At Suntrup Buick GMC, we value your time and your business. So we are making the buying process simple and affordable. This is Andrew Suntrup of Suntrup Buick GMC. This month only, save thousands on one of Buick's 2018 luxury compact SUVs, like the 2018 Buick Envision, up to $12,000 off. Or the brand new 2018 Buick Encore, now for as low as $14,499. Or lease the Buick Encore with $1,000 down at $99 a month. That's only $99 a month. Save up to $15,000 on the popular 2018 GMC Acadia with its third-row seating and advanced technology. And at Suntrup Buick GMC, we have over 100 GMC Acadias to choose from, all up to $15,000 off. See why our customers keep coming back to Suntrup Buick GMC. We believe that from purchase to delivery, you deserve the best, because we are professional grade. Stop in Suntrup Buick GMC today at I-70 at the Cave Springs exit in St. Peters, or go to suntrupbuickgmc.com.
Qualify for lease loyalty. 24-month lease includes lease conquest, $1,000 down. Does not include tax, title, tag, or admin fee. Offers not in combination.
A lot of nasal congestion, especially at night. Facial pain, pressure.
Cynthia suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She was fed up.
I was in my primary care physician's office, and she was prescribing another course of antibiotics. And I think at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. There has to be some other option.
She set an appointment with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called balloon sinuplasty.
I was home within a few hours and back to work the next morning. I could breathe so much easier, especially with activity, and at night being able to sleep a lot better. My energy level was increased, being a mom and being able to be more active with my little one. At least to me, that was the most important thing.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Call 314-449-8761. 449-8761. That's 449-8761.
Head to Mid-America Arms. From firearms to accessories, you won't find a better selection in Mid-America, including guns, rifles, knives, ammo, holsters, cases, and more. From Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Benelli, Sig Sauer, and others. Ask their no-commission sales assistants about their trade-in policy, transfers, rebates, and info about concealed carry and basic firearms training. Mid-America Arms, 8205 Gravois Road, and at midamericaarms.com. That's midamericaarms.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Merrifield, owner of Lakeside Exteriors. As a family-owned and operated business, we know that renovating your home is a costly investment for your family. That's why we're here to offer a helping hand. Call us now at 636-978-5000 or go to our website to learn about our special offers that we have for you. Let us help you replace that old worn-out siding or hard-to-operate windows and transform your house into a home you love. Go with someone you can trust. Lakeside Exteriors. Call us at 636-978-5000 or lakesideexteriors.com.
Don't miss the St. Louis Home and Garden Show happening this weekend at America Center with broadcast of Ride at Home with Rich and All Around the Yard. Plus tour the impressive feature home built by Energy Panel Structures. Details and register to win at 971talk.com.
Listening to The Marc Cox Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
We know the Trump administration is full of liars. They've pled guilty already to the special counsel.
All people deserve humane treatment, and they deserve due process under the laws and Constitution of the United States.
Unbelievable. The Attorney General for California, this Javier Becerra, who used to be in Congress, who's just a outspoken leftist, you'd have to be to get appointed Attorney General, elected Attorney General in California. He and Governor Moonbeam, Jerry Brown, have come out reacting to this announcement that the DOJ is suing them over these sanctuary city policies. And I mean, I couldn't be happier with this decision by the Department of Justice, because the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, just laid it out today in a way that I have not heard him say before. Listen.
Here's my message to Mayor Schaaf. How dare you? How dare you needlessly endanger the lives of our law enforcement officers to promote a radical open borders agenda?
Because that is exactly what this comes down to. That mayor in California, with her approach to warning people of these ICE raids, endangered the lives of law enforcement. It's the same thing in every sanctuary city policy across the country. It's politicians with their own left-wing agenda who value illegal and oftentimes criminal aliens over law-abiding, tax-paying citizens and law enforcement. Bottom line, that's what it comes down to. The White House press briefing is underway today, just started. Sarah Sanders is making her opening statement right now and is, I'm sure, going to get to questions from the media for sure. What do you want to take some bets on what the first question is going to be today? Anybody in the studio have any ideas about that?
Stormy Daniels.
No, I don't. What do you think? What do you think? Church, any thoughts on what the first question will be at the press conference for Sarah Sanders here?
I agree. I think it'll have to deal with Stormy Daniels.
You do? Yeah, maybe.
That could be pretty big fallout.
Because that's what the media is focusing on. Here's the first question. Hit it.
Sign the tariffs tomorrow.
It's a tariff question.
Like Mexico and Canada
and allies within the European Union expect to have a pathway to gain an exemption from the tariffs?
We expect that the president will sign something by the end of the week, and there are potential carve-outs for Mexico and Canada based on national security, and possibly other countries as well, based on that process.
Specifically, what would they have to do?
Again, that would be a case-by-case and country-by-country basis, but it would be determined whether or not there is a national security exemption. Cecilia.
So far this year, 6 top White House staffers have resigned. The president says there are more names to come. Why are so many people leaving this administration?
Look, this administration has had a historic first year. We're going to continue to do great things. This is an intense place, as every White House, and it's not abnormal that you would have people come and go, but we're continuing to do great work. We're continuing to focus on the president's agenda, and that's what we're all here to do.
But actually, it is actually abnormal. No administration in recent history has had this much turnover.
But it's not, I said it's not abnormal to have turnover.
If this is not the definition of chaotic, how would you describe what's happening in these recent weeks?
If it was, then I don't think we would be able to accomplish everything that we've done. The economy is stronger than it's been in ages. ISIS is on the run. The remaking of the judiciary. Jobs are coming in at record numbers. There are historic things that have taken place in the first year. Sounds like a very functioning place of business to me. Steve.
Talk about potential carve-outs. Are you also talking about NATO allies as possibly getting this exemption?
It'll be a country by country, and it'll be based on national security.
Let me follow up. Today, the president tweeted, China has been asked to develop a plan for the year for a $1 billion reduction in the trade deficit. What's he talking about?
Yeah, I'm surprised, Liz, that you were wrong on this one.
That was going to be my second. My second
the tariff question.
No, my second guess would have been the turnover in the White House.
Well, Gary Cohn resigned. The stock market reacted as a result of it. Cohn was opposed to the idea of these tariffs, and we didn't really know what to expect. I thought, though, like you, that the overriding, based on watching CNN, the overriding question so far, coverage on CNN and NBC and mainstream media has been this lady who claims to have had an affair with the president in the past. Oh, there it is. Go ahead, pull it up. There's the question.
The president has addressed these directly and made very well clear that none of these allegations are true. This case has already been won in arbitration, and anything beyond that, I would refer you to the president's outside counsel.
When did the president address specifically the cash payment that was made in October of 2016?
The president has denied the allegations against him. And again, this case has already been won in arbitration. Anything beyond that, I would refer you to outside counsel.
All right. Sarah Sanders finally got the question and said, listen, talk to outside counsel. It's been dealt with, and the president denies it. So move on. Which they won't, but that was her answer on it. So we'll monitor this and get to anything interesting that comes up in just a couple of minutes. Let me get to a couple of phone calls here. Zach, thanks for the phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Great, thank you.
Do my best to wrap it up quickly.
No, that's all right.
It's a big issue. About what Mr. Beal was saying, I only came in for the end of it, but I am actually a huge believer in the mind-body connection. And I would take it in a very different direction, though. I believe that mandatory health programs are the beginning of these issues we have. And my example would be mandatory vaccination. And I'll throw a couple additional pieces of information onto that and let you take it. We see that it's boys and males who are more affected with suicide, depression, mental health issues in general. And there's a connection, and it's that what's known as the blood-brain barrier. It's a membrane that blocks the blood supply in your body from going straight to your brain, and it only filters in what's supposed to be in your brain. And it's been shown through autopsy and other studies that aluminum particles, which are the adjuvant added to vaccines, do cross the blood-brain barrier, and boys have a thinner blood-brain barrier than girls. That's why they're more affected by these things.
Okay.
And so I see mandatory medicine as the root of the issues that we're having, whether it be mental health issues or the fact that cancer and, well, pretty much everything is through the roof. So I would have to disagree that more mandatory programs is the way to go. That's my thought on it. I'll let you take that.
No,
and,
that's fine. So I guess, Zach, to make sure that I understand where you're coming from, you're saying that if you're screening for this as a freshman, the damage has been, you believe the damage has been done by vaccines years before?
Yeah, and not just vaccines. That's just one of many things. The fact that they're dumping fluoride into our water, which is not even approved by the FDA, the same government's dumping it in our water. It's a whole plethora of things. The fact that they're genetically modifying our food so that they can spray more pesticide on it. There's a lot of things. I just wanted to throw the vaccines out there because there's a concrete connection with the boys having thinner blood-brain barriers than girls, and anyone can look this up if they want to. That's why they're more strongly affected. It's bad for everyone, worse for people who have less protection.
All right. Well,
males.
Zach, thank you for the point. I know a lot of people have concerns about the vaccines. I don't have a strong opinion on it one way or the other. I mean, all of my kids have been vaccinated. But as far as the mental health screenings, though, a lot of people are going to have that stigma concern. What happens if they're wrong? What happens if they diagnose my kid as depressed as a freshman? This is on their medical records. What else does it affect going forward? There's discussions by some people to, restrict your right to own a firearm based on your mental health record. Who decides? So I understand there's a legitimate debate that has to go on around this issue. Steve, thank you for the call.
Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. What's going on?
Hey, I'm going to put out a different view from your previous caller here.
Okay.
Knowing how this area works, and I know firsthand, okay, if a person is going to do harm to themselves, the very last thing that they do is they call out for help. When they call out for help, they end up in a medical facility if they actually get the help. While in that medical facility, they will not let that individual talk about what actually brought them there. For example, if a person is suicidal and they go to seek treatment in a hospital facility, they cannot discuss that they were thinking about or had some active attempt on their own life. That is a huge problem until they actually, the medical community, actually gets together and fixes that portion of the mental health issue. All we're doing is talking.
Interesting. Steve,
like I said, I know this firsthand as a fact. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the insight. That's something I was unaware of. It's a big issue. But I know there are answers out there, and I know the case in Florida is a perfect example of plenty of places along the path where that could have been fixed, including the policy of the school district to not get police involved at a much earlier point in that kid's life. And the fact that he, dropped out of counseling and a lot of other things. Lots of red flags that just went ignored. All right, when we come back, Annie Fry joins me in studio. We got reaction from Governor Rauner to this anti-gun legislation in Illinois. We'll have that for you coming up right here on the Marc Cox Show. Stick around.
This hour of the Marc Cox Show brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of the Marc Cox Show.
If you've been contacted for past due tax debt, garnishments, levies, and liens, remember the Constitution affords you due process before this can happen. Hi, I'm local tax attorney Lance Drury, and I've helped hundreds of individuals and small businesses resolve their disputes with the Missouri Department of Revenue and the IRS. I have more than 30 years of legal experience, and I know your rights. Schedule your appointment today and let's meet face-to-face to go over my 8-point plan. My strategy is to get you the lowest settlement allowed by law. My firm and I will handle the filing and negotiations for you or on your business's behalf. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we want to make sure that you're satisfied with the outcome. So call me now, Tax Resolution Attorney Lance Drury, at 314-238-7360, or go to LanceDruryLaw.com. That's LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Join me, Thomas Helbig, along with Marc Cox and Mark Close for the Protecting Your Retirement educational event on Thursday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. There is limited seating, so you need to hurry. Call right now to reserve your space, 855-755-1555, or visit yourretirementkey.com. Do you know how to retire in this market and your possible options regarding rolling over your 401k and other retirement accounts? Do you know how to protect your assets in volatile times and help maximize the legacy you leave your heirs? Do you also know the latest strategies for increasing your return, eliminating your risk, and increasing your retirement income? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss the special event. Join me, Thomas Helbig, along with Marc Cox and Mark Close for the Protecting Your Retirement educational event on Thursday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Call 855-755-1555 right now or visit yourretirementkey.com. Once again, that's 855-755-1555 or visit yourretirementkey.com.
At Tactical Shop, we're not a gun shop. We're a social media community with over 2.6 million fans, followers, and subscribers. We sell over 18,000 products from 300 brands like 511 and Bravo Company. We have over 200 t-shirts from Grunt Style, Ranger Up, Rogue American Apparel, and more. We sell Black Rifle Coffee, and now we carry Strike Force Energy, a healthy and highly effective alternative to energy drinks invented by a Navy SEAL. Tactical Shop, I-70 in St. Peters, and our new website, shop.tacticalshop.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
The Marc Cox Show, brought to you by Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of The Marc Cox Show.
Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. FM News Talk, 97.1.
An indictment in the Florida school shooting. Lisa Brady, Fox News. A former student now formally charged in the mass murder 3 weeks ago. Fox's Evan Brown is live in Miami.
Elisa, a grand jury in Broward County indicted 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz of 17 counts of premeditated murder and 17 counts of attempted murder in the first degree for his alleged shooting spree at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The counts are for every person killed or injured at the school that day. Prosecutors haven't said they'll pursue a death penalty yet, but have made it clear that execution would be warranted if Cruz is found guilty. His attorney says he'll plead guilty if that is off the table, Lisa.
Meantime, Evan, Congress still debating gun-related issues, not ready to vote on anything yet. Fox's Jared Halpern, live on the Hill.
While a broader debate over gun restrictions is waged, Florida's 2 senators are looking to pass measures they think have immediate consensus.
Even as I speak to you now, the next killer like this could be out there plotting their move.
Republican Marco Rubio and Democrat Bill Nelson are introducing a gun restraining order bill. It's designed to open federal funding to states that put in place court-sanctioned procedures to temporarily remove firearms from people believed to be at risk of doing harm.
At the end of the day, if you can get these kind of things, you can start getting around the edges.
The school safety bill is scheduled to get a debate and vote in the House next week. Lisa.
Jared, the Justice Department taking California to court over sanctuary policies. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, speaking in Sacramento, says no one's asking cities like Oakland and San Francisco to help enforce federal immigration laws.
We're simply asking the state and other sanctuary jurisdictions to stop actively obstructing federal law enforcement.
The California Governor Jerry Brown says no one's obstructing anything and that this is just a political stunt. Fox News, fair and balanced.
I have 2 categories of clothes, cute and what were you thinking?
Add more cute to your closet and everywhere else in your home with surprising finds from Gordman's. Yeah, Gordman's. We've restocked our entire store with on-trend styles and designer finds at every turn. Load up on super cute shoes and handbags and must-have home decor, all at unbelievably low prices. So get shopping. Gordman's. Bigger deals, smaller price tags.
Walgreens has good news for anyone managing diabetes. We've got your back. That's right. Walgreens pharmacists are here to consult with you in person and answer any questions you may have about new and existing medications. You can even get free advice from our trusted experts day and night at walgreens.com or the mobile app. Walgreens has all major brands of diabetes testing supplies like Accu-Check and Walgreens TrueMetrics. That's not just good news, it's great news. Stop by and talk to your Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
97.1 News Time 2:03. Good afternoon. I'm Jason Church. Lawyers for embattled Governor Eric Greitens said on Tuesday that they don't expect to ask for his invasion of privacy trial to be moved out of St. Louis. And Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner said in a hearing on Tuesday she thinks jurors should be sequestered for the May 14th trial that's expected to last about a week. Circuit Judge Rex Burleson said that he would order a pool of 160 people for jury selection to begin on May 10th in St. Louis Circuit Court. St. Louis is hosting its first SEC basketball tournament starting this evening at Scott Trade Center. St. Louis Metropolitan Police will beef up their presence downtown and on Metrolink platforms and will be assisted by high-visibility cameras on the new tower at 14th and Market. Police encourage fans to park in well-lit areas. A driver transporting prisoners from Oklahoma to Texas is now out of a job after an unscheduled stop at the Casino Queen in East St. Louis yesterday resulted in a prisoner escaping. Now you can get our 97.1 News Flash Briefing on your Alexa smart speaker. Enable the FM News Talk 97.1 skill via your Amazon Alexa app today.
Suffering from knee or back pain? Call 800-616-KNEE. Learn how a comfortable, nearly invisible brace can help. 90% satisfaction rating and insurance may pay the cost. Free information at 800-616-KNEE. 800-616-KNEE.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
All right, the Show Me Institute, showmeinstitute.org, a website you need to add to your bookmarks on your computer because they are talking about the issues that we're debating every day on the air here about what direction you want your political leaders to go in the state of Missouri. They've got a story on there right now with our own Jamie Allman talking with Brenda Talent about the charter school task force that's been going on in the state of Missouri. They've got their Missouri checkbook. They've got stories on, besides education, economic opportunity and good government in the state of Missouri because it's what they do. They're the only free market think tank. We talk about Common Sense Radio. They are all about common sense public policy. Visit their website at showmeinstitute.org. Join them in the fight for common sense public policy. The Show Me Institute, where liberty comes first.
Debt can be stressful, especially credit card debt with its outrageous interest rates and fees. Did you know, unless you pay your bill in full, you get charged interest, even on the part of the bill you do pay? Don't take my word for it. It's right there on your statement. I'm Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. You don't need to live under the stress of debt when there is a very good chance I can help you get rid of it by using the equity in your home. Consolidating that debt into a fixed-rate, tax-deductible loan in the threes will free up hundreds of dollars every month. And we can do this without adding any closing costs onto your loan. Plus, you'll skip 2 months of mortgage payments. Don't wait any longer. Call now for a straightforward review of your loan options. The call is free, but the savings could be life-changing. Remember, whether you are buying, refinancing, or need to consolidate debt, call me, Michael Mohan, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, APRs in the threes, NMLS 250353224143.
FM News Talk 97.1. The Marc Cox Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Marc Cox Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
Let's get it on. Is The Marc Cox Show.
In order to be eligible, these are the steps that a state must enact in their legislation. It must allow family members or law enforcement officers to petition a court for a gun violence prevention order. This, of course, would prevent firearm purchases and possession by individuals who pose a significant threat of personal injury. States must require due process protections before a gun violence protection order can be issued, including proper notice and formal hearing where the individual has an opportunity to be heard. They must provide a court officer the authority to issue an emergency gun violence protection order of up to 14 days in limited circumstances. States must establish a minimum penalty for filing false allegations. It would require proper notification to the Department of Justice.
That is Senator Marco Rubio. He held a news conference just a short time ago with his fellow Florida Senator Bill Nelson, talking about a gun violence restraining order bill that they're pushing in the Senate. So it doesn't directly speak to a particular type of weapon, but making sure that people can come forward if they have concerns and somebody could get a restraining order against someone they feel is posing a threat. Welcome back into the Marc Cox Show. Glad that you're with us. You know, I don't know. I know Church, you're a Star Trek fan, aren't you?
Oh, big time.
I can't watch this Senator Nelson from Florida without thinking, was it Odo who was on Deep Space Nine?
Yes.
He kind of looks like that guy.
By Renee, what's his name? Renee Auberjonois or whatever.
You're thinking of the actor, but I'm just
From
thinking
Benson,
that character, it kind of reminds me of Bill Nelson. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about that guy's face that bothers me, but it's true. All right. Glad you're back with us. Hey, you know what? Governor Rauner has come out and commented on some of the gun legislation that's pending over in the state of Illinois. They've been voting on all kinds of stuff over there. They're talking about voting on all kinds of bills over there. The question is, ultimately, it's got to go to the desk of our, and I'm using air quotes here, Republican governor in the state of Illinois. And we're going to find out what he had to say about it coming up. But first, let's get to our guest, please.
So, kick out the jams, kick up the soul, pour another glass of that rock and roll, turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweet.
All right.
Back up, you creep. Get away from me.
That means Annie Fry's in the studio. How are you, Annie? I'm good. How are you doing? I'm doing. We don't have your mic up. Hang on. There we go.
I'm still good.
There, you still good?
Yes, still
All right,
good.
Still good.
Thanks
I'm
for
glad to hear that. How are you?
I'm good.
So these gun bills that are going on over there. We had somebody from the NRA on yesterday talking about it. This was it 1469? Was that the bill?
Yeah, House Bill 1469,
which would limit magazine capacity. Because of course, you know, if you're on the left in this country, you've got to do something. And then you turn around and find out the guy at the Parkland, Florida shooting didn't have a magazine with more than 10 rounds in it.
Yeah, we're so far away from the central issue of what's actually going on with any of these shootings. With, you know, can you believe that we are not talking about Las Vegas at this point in time, that we have no information on what happened there, how many people died, and we're not talking about it? It blows my mind. And they think that the solution to this problem is to find some type of gun grab that will make them feel better and sleep better at night, when in reality, it's not the actual issue at all. We've tried to make drugs less available to people. That didn't work. We tried to make alcohol less available to people. That didn't work either. You can try to make guns less available to people. The only people who will abide by those laws are the law-abiding citizens. It doesn't stop the criminals or the crazy people from doing what they want to do.
That's a great point. But just like hardening the schools, which we're going to have to do, each one of these cases needs to be looked at individually for things that could realistically have been done to prevent them from happening. there are a bunch of red flags in Florida. This kid should never have gotten to where he was. You know, the guy in Vegas that's a different angle. So are you looking at how he collected the guns over an 18-month period? Mm-hmm. Or are you looking at, do major venues like that change their approach to security and start looking at sight lines and engage law enforcement in a different manner when it comes to crowd security at outdoor events like that moving forward?
And you and I still know so little about the motive behind it. You have to know why somebody does something.
Right.
You can't just, you can't just take away the means. You have to understand why they are seeking out those means. And with the Vegas shooter, we don't understand that. We know from Parkland, we definitely understand where this kid got to this place, and he called out so many times for attention. I don't even know if he was, I guess you could say it was a call for help, but the solution to this problem has to be found in the means. And maybe there is some sort of modification on how we regulate our guns that might help in the future, but we are so far away from being able to identify that, especially when the laws that we have on the books right now are not well enforced.
They don't get enforced.
So
Sure.
why put in place more laws that won't also get enforced? And then we'll have another situation like this, and then we'll look at how the system fell apart, and then we'll go for the gun grab again. Like this Illinois thing, the biggest thing that is disconcerting about this House Bill 1469 is this no grandfather clause allowing owners of these magazines to keep them and would instead require that they be disposed of within 90 days. I mean, this is a catalyst into what progressives, and if you're wondering what the progressive left wants to do, go ahead and just look to Illinois and Chicago and see what they're trying to do. It's a gun grab, and they're using a crisis to get some action on the books that they would have done, that they would have loved to have done before the Parkland shooting happened, but now they have a means to an end to get that done for themselves.
And the problem with banning magazine capacity is that you don't just affect the magazine. I mean, it doesn't just limit the fact that you can only have a 10-round magazine for a semi-automatic rifle. So many semi-automatic pistols these days are designed for magazines that are called a double stack, that have far more than 10 rounds in them. Some of them have 16 or 17 rounds in them. What do you do about it? Do you just throw the gun away? I mean, that's why these approaches, as you just made reference to, just simply make no sense. Now, Governor Rauner, there was a time in that state that you live in over there where I would have said, well, there's no way that Governor Rauner is going to ever sign a sanctuary state bill. There's no way that governor's ever going to agree to spend federal money or state money on abortion, but he's done both of those things.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Madigan and the Democrats, who have an iron fist on Springfield, are going to pass something, some kind of feel-good knee-jerk reaction. They're going to send it to this governor's desk. Let's find out what he said about that today. Here we go. Just fresh off the presses. Here we go.
Well, I've been very clear. We need to have common sense, bipartisan reform. We need to have a good conversation about how do we keep our citizens safer, how do we protect our students, our children, our families, and this should be done on a bipartisan basis. I believe we need to come together, and we can come together to do a number of things. First, we've got to find ways to keep guns out of the hands of criminals and the mentally ill, first and foremost. We also should come together on something I think we can all agree on, and that is banning bump stocks. I believe we can all agree on that. We should get that done. I believe we should also come together to find out ways to increase school safety, increase the safety of our students and our teachers in our schools. And the other thing I think we can all agree on is we've got to do a better job supporting our police officers, our law enforcement, who put their safety at risk to keep us safe. We need to find ways to protect them and support them even stronger than we have.
Are you Governor, pick me. You didn't answer the question. Would you sign a bill that came to your desk limiting magazine size?
Are you familiar with the movie Bull Durham?
Yes.
Okay, so Nuke LaLoosh is on the bus, and Kevin Costner starts telling him, "You need to learn your cliches."
Yeah.
And he's telling, and then by the end of the movie, he's got his cliches down, and he's handling the press like butter. And this is he's Nuke LaLoosh, and he's in there and he's saying all of these things. You got to have common sense, and you have to have a conversation in schools, and yay police. He's saying all these things, but everything he's saying is an attempt to not say something, and you can't trust him. You can't trust Governor Rauner to do the conservative thing to protect the Second Amendment rights of the folks in Illinois. And the questions you have to ask yourself, he said, obviously we can all agree on bump stocks, obviously. But my question is, bump stocks don't stop bad things from happening. They limit the carnage of what can happen. So, okay, maybe that's a good thing, but it still doesn't fix the issue. It only makes you feel better or sleep better if you're willing to allow it to make you feel better. And for somebody to say, okay, let's just all hold our breath and ban bump stocks and move forward, and we can all feel like we did something. That's lazy. That's crappy. And you can't solve a problem like Parkland. You can't prevent the next Parkland, because there will be another Parkland. And how many times have we heard since it happened of threats that have been at schools? They're bubbling up to the surface more and more after each event happens. It's a lazy way to fix these problems. It's a lazy way to solve these problems. And it's more from this governor's office, where he's not willing to commit to something for the people who elected him.
This shouldn't even be a question. I mean, he should have just said no. Yeah. Don't bother to pass something silly like that and send it to me. Doesn't address the problem. Mm-hmm. We need a bipartisan solution.
Good luck. In Springfield, Illinois? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, nothing bipartisan will ever come out of the Illinois legislature. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So what's the point of having somebody with an R after their name in the governor's office if they're not going to stand up for the people that voted them in there?
We need 9 seats, and we have 2 seats right across the river in the Metro East that are currently held by Democrats that could very easily go Republican. I would say go check out Dwight Kay and Mike Babcock are both one's in Wood River and one's in Edwardsville. Wendy Earhart is also running on the Republican ticket in Katie Stewart's district. We need 9 seats, and Mike Madigan just becomes another representative.
Right, and it would be interesting to hear Jeannie Ives' take on this, because I think I know what it would be. No. She's a West Point graduate. She's a gun owner.
She's a very strong supporter of the Second Amendment, and she has no shame in her conservative roots. She has no shame standing up for what conservatives believe in. If you haven't checked out Jeannie Ives yet, please go Google her name, ivesforillinois.com. I think you'd be shocked at how refreshing it is to see somebody in the state of Illinois that is actually representative of what we offer, because Bruce Rauner with this he's not going to win in November. He's not going to win. He hasn't done anything for Illinois in these past 4 years other than get a tax raise. He hasn't enforced anything. He had 44 points on his turnaround agenda. He's gotten exactly 0 done. So how is he possibly going to win? Who's going to show up to vote for him?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Tomorrow evening, Juanita Broderick is going to be in St. Louis.
Yes.
And she's hilarious to follow on Twitter. But besides that, you're going to be talking with her and moderating the evening, right?
We're going to sit down with her and talk to her about her book and about her experience. If you're unfamiliar, Juanita Broderick is a name that most people know, and she has a book out cataloging her life and her story after she says when she goes through the whole process of her story of how she was raped by Bill Clinton, and she's going to put it all out there. I'm going to ask her questions. People who come are going to be able to ask her questions too, and from what I understand, you can go to 971talk.com right now, click on the events tab, and there's a link there where you can, her book's called You Better Put Some Ice on That, which is what Bill Clinton said to her, and you can get the tickets there, and I think they're free right now.
Oh,
so
really?
Go get them and bring friends and come meet me and hang out with me. And Trisha and Katie, I think, are going to come. Liz, what are you doing tomorrow?
Where's it going to be?
The Drury Inn, downtown St. Louis.
I'm planning to go.
Yeah, come. Yeah, that'd be great.
The only conflict I have is that the SEC basketball tournament is in town.
Tell them to wait.
I should. I know. There's, primarily, I'll get to see them.
Who's playing in that tournament?
Primarily, I'll get to see the Mizzou game tomorrow,
yeah,
which I'm looking forward to, and then Kentucky playing Mizzou if Mizzou wins tomorrow on Friday.
Who's going to win in that meeting?
Well, that's a good question. They're 1-1. They've each won one this year. So on a neutral court, I don't know. I just don't know.
You'll be paying lots of
attention.
You know
who I'll be rooting for? My Kentucky Wildcats. But besides that, downtown, by the way, just so you know, if you're coming down here, that tournament starts tonight. They've already got streets around Scottrade blocked off in expectation of probably ESPN Game Day and all that stuff happening here this weekend. So I would suspect that you're going to want to avoid those streets.
For my drive home, yeah.
Yeah, just so you know.
Yeah, so come see us, Juanita Broderick and you, Marc Cox, maybe.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be there. Yeah.
Katie and Trisha from the morning show, maybe Liz if I can drag her there.
You bet. It depends on whether there's a WWE event tomorrow night.
Well,
right,
you can maybe
Liz?
make that happen.
She's not saying anything. Look at her. Come on, pull the mic up there. We get you on the spot.
I got kids.
Oh, okay.
Kids.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, well. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And, of course, you can always listen to Annie every Saturday evening from 5 to 7 right here on FM News Talk 97.1. 314-969-9797. Time for your phone calls and much more right after this.
Marc Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, AM 1490, and 97.1talk.com.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here. Download the free Next Radio app on your phone and listen to live local FM radio. It's now available on all smartphones. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the app today. Next Radio, an affiliate of NS Communications.
All right, here's one of the testimonials that the folks at ThrottleNet get from one of their many satisfied customers. ThrottleNet was recommended to me by a friend who manages IT for another firm. When we engaged them, we could see the difference in their methodology immediately. They learned quickly. They got up to speed. They put highly qualified engineers and project managers on the job. Not only did they fix problems from our previous IT company's work, but they finished the job on time and actually enhanced the final product. This is what they do at ThrottleNet. ThrottleNet saves companies money because you don't sign a long-term contract, and yet they're providing you with superior service. And if for some reason, and you won't find any evidence of this that I know of, they don't, then you can just walk away and hire somebody else. But ThrottleNet employs good people. They pay them fairly. They give them profit sharing, so they work hard for you each and every day. Experience the ThrottleNet difference and go on there. Look at their testimonials. Look at the wide range of industries that they serve. There's no doubt that they're already serving somebody who's in your industry, and they know exactly what they're doing when they walk in the door. 866-826-5966 or go to throttlenet.com.
Hey, St. Louis, it's time for you to get cleaned up at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Brentwood on Hanley Road, just south of Highway 40, or O'Fallon on the corner of Highway K and Fisey Road. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Hey everyone, Tim Jones here. The new tax bill is going to have a positive impact upon the economy by reducing tax expenses for businesses. As a result, some have already started hiring. Many say they'll increase wages and or bonuses. The impact upon individual taxpayers is mixed. There'll be winners and losers. How will it impact you? To discuss this and optimize your tax and investing situation, visit John at Convergent Wealth, an investment advisor and CPA, and see how having a professional in your corner can help. Convergent Wealth Management, convergentwm.com. That's convergentwm.com. It's wealth for the way.
Become the next millionaire with Missouri Lottery's Powerball. Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is an estimated $348 million. The Missouri Lottery reminds you to visit your favorite retailer because you can't win the estimated $348 million Powerball jackpot if you don't play. And please play responsibly.
If knowledge really is power, are we giving our kids enough mental muscle? According to recent tests, most of Missouri's students aren't ready for high school work by 9th grade and aren't ready for college upon graduation. We need to reform education and explore every option. Why are Kansas City and St. Louis the only cities allowed to have charter schools in Missouri? The demand is there, and yet thousands of students are denied the chance for a better education. Why aren't advanced and online classes available through Course Access to all students throughout the state? Bright young minds don't just reside in big cities. And why doesn't Missouri adopt education savings accounts, a tax credit program that can save the state and school districts money? Why not explore all these options to bolster education in Missouri and give our kids the mental muscle for success? Read more about education reform in our 2018 Missouri Blueprint, Moving Missouri Forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Blues fans, this is Cardinals broadcaster John Rooney. Opening day for the Cardinals is right around the corner. The pitch, a swing, and there's a high fly ball. But it's still hockey season. He scored! And I bleed blue, too. Join us for Cardinals Night with the Blues on March 27th when the Blues face off against the San Jose Sharks. Get a free Blues Cardinals baseball jersey by purchasing a theme ticket using the code CARDS18. You must use the code to get the jersey. So get your tickets for Cardinals Night with the Blues at stlouisblues.com/theme.
Are you living with joint pain? Today, there are joint replacement technologies available that may be able to help you get moving again. Learn more at our free seminar featuring orthopedic surgeon Christopher Mudd, MD, on Monday, March 12th in the DePere Lodge on DePere Road. Event starts at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. Refreshments included. Call 1-888-STRIKER, that's 1-888-STRIKER with a Y, or visit www.aboutstriker.com/seminars. Individual results vary. Not all patients will have the same post-operative recovery and activity level. See your orthopedic surgeon to discuss your potential benefits and risks.
Sean Hannity.
There is now an intoxicating drug. It's called Trump hate. It's stronger than Molly, fentanyl, heroin, crack, you name it combined.
Weeknights 7 to 9 on FM News Talk 97.1. Follow the show on Facebook, facebook.com/The Marc Cox Show.
We expect that the president will sign something by the end of the week, and there are potential carve-outs for Mexico and Canada based on national security and possibly other countries as well.
Yeah, Sarah Sanders with some more of her comments from the news conference earlier that there may end up being carve-outs for Canada or Mexico. Kind of depends on what they tell Jared Kushner when he shows up in Mexico with President Nieto to discuss NAFTA and renegotiating it. I'm telling you, folks, I think that's what's going on here. I really do. I think that's what's going on. I think that's probably what's coming up. They also ask her a question about this Stormy Daniels thing, this allegation. The story's been floating around forever. Allegation that the president had some sort of a fling with this actress, former porn actress, I guess. I don't know if she's former or not. Maybe she's current. Anyway, back in 2006. Is allegedly when this, she alleges, apparently now that it happened. Her attorney came out and said it. This was Sarah's reaction to that today. Here.
The president has addressed these directly and made very well clear that none of these allegations are true. This case has already been won in arbitration, and anything beyond that, I would refer you to the president's outside counsel.
Did he know about the payment at the time?
Not that I'm aware of. And again, anything beyond what I've already given you, I would refer you to the president's outside counsel.
All right. So there's Sarah Sanders on that issue just a little earlier today. And yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll hear more about that, no doubt. The question was some sort of a settlement or something that was reached in arbitration for her allegations. And now she's violating. Now she's giving the money back. I don't know. I think those are all good questions. Claiming that it is not valid, and maybe the $130,000 is gone, and that's why she's speaking out now. It's possible, I'm guessing. Hey, Jim, thank you for the call. You're on the radio.
Hey, good afternoon. I have one comment and a couple of questions. They've been, all over the press. They've been talking about how the AR-15 is such a powerful weapon. Well, in the overall scale of things, compared to the typical deer rifle, it's much less powerful. The 5.56 by 45 cartridge, or 223 that the AR-15 shoots, is significantly less powerful than the old 30-06 cartridge that the M1 shot, from World War II, and also less powerful than the 308 cartridge that the M1A shot during the Korean and Vietnam era.
Right.
So, I mean, claiming that it's much more deadly is just a big lie. And, most people don't hunt deer with an AR-15 because the cartridge isn't effective for large animals. But anyway, that's one issue. And then a couple questions. Does anyone believe that this whack job down there in Florida would have done nothing if he had not had access to an AR-15?
Well, apparently some of them do. I mean, some people think, if he just couldn't have gotten a hold of that gun, he wouldn't have done this. That gun drove him to do it, apparently.
Yeah. Well, what about 10 gallons of gasoline and a road flare?
Right.
I mean,
right.
Or a large truck on the parking lot when the school is letting out. There's all sorts of possibilities, and the fact that the fact that we haven't already made the schools safer. We use armed people to protect many less precious things than our children, and not have done that already is nuts.
Well, Jim, to your point, if he had used a truck and killed 15 or 20 or 25 kids as they were leaving school that day, the discussion right now would not be focused on banning the truck.
Well, exactly, and that was my second question is, had he used some other instrument to cause this sort of mayhem, would we be talking about getting rid of that instrument, or would we be talking about, hardening the targets and working on trying to, prevent this by calling out individuals that are exhibiting behaviors and attitudes and writing on the internet about doing this sorts of thing?
Yeah,
I just think, this is a false flag thing. It's total nonsense. I know a lot of people that are involved in firearms heavily, and they are the most stand-up citizens we have.
Absolutely.
And anyway, that's what I got.
Jim, thank you for the call.
We'll see you.
Yep, good conversation there. I remember specifically, and we could probably go back and find it on YouTube somewhere after the Oklahoma City bombing. A lot of focus on, of course, Timothy McVeigh, why he did what he did. As Annie Fry so correctly pointed out earlier, you have to know the motivation behind somebody committing a crime like this. They looked at Timothy McVeigh's motives, and then they looked at the fact that somehow he'd figured out how to put together all those pounds of nitrogen fertilizer and make it into a bomb using a rental truck. So the question is, what are you going to do? You're going to ban rental trucks? No, you're not going to do that. Do you limit the number of fertilizer people can buy at one store? Maybe that's what you do. And we did a story when I was at Channel 4. In fact, I think it was Jamie Allman. I'll have to double check with him who did this story, where they rented a truck. First of all, they went to different feed stores in the area to see how much fertilizer they could buy. And then they rented a truck and they drove it around and parked it in front of a variety of different buildings and just left it there for a couple of days to see if anybody noticed or complained. And it was crickets, just crickets. So again, the point being, nobody ran out and banned the stuff that this nut job used to kill all those people and all those innocent children in the Oklahoma City bombing. I was there. I was there within hours of that bombing, and I saw the debris and I saw the destruction, and it was sad. But since then, I mean, what's been done to prevent that from happening in the future? I don't know. It's not the gun, that's for sure. Let me get to Mike. Mike, you're on the radio.
Yes. No, I am great. Hey, nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Listen, I wanted to make a brief comment about the previous caller. His name is Jim, I believe. He mentioned something about the AR-15 not being used for hunting, and it's actually becoming a more and more popular tool for the job, mainly because it has less recoil than a single-shot AR, 30-06 or 308 or whatever other popular rounds there are. number one. And number two, today's bullets that are loaded in them, they're more capable. They perform much better than just your simple full metal jacket.
Well, I think what he said specifically is that a lot of people don't use them to deer hunt because they're not as effective in that as a 30-06 or a 308, something like that.
Yes, sir.
I think that was his point.
And what he mentioned was something along the lines of they're not used to large animals. Well, white-tailed deer, mule deer, those are relatively large. It's, they're not super small or anything, but you can kill feral hogs with them, white-tailed deer, anything that's really thin-skinned. They do a great job at that, and I just wanted to correct them on that. A lot of people are using AR-15s for those specific reasons.
Mike,
yeah, go ahead.
no, I appreciate the call, and I see your point there completely, and I appreciate that. Joe, you're on the radio.
Mark, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I listen almost every day.
I appreciate that.
I have to defend Rauner in the fact that he has done some good in Illinois. The sanctuary city stuff, I do not agree with. It needs to go, or it's going to be the end of him. But he has passed a bill in Illinois and signed it. 50% service-connected disabled veterans claim a smaller proportion of property tax, and 70% or greater pay zero property tax. And just in September of last year, I went to file, it was December, I'm sorry. I went to file my LLC annual report.
Okay.
Which in Illinois used to be $250 just to check if your address changed. He changed that from $250 to $75 every year. You have to do this. So he is making things more business friendly over here. He's got a long road to hoe. And it's because of Madigan and a lot of those union guys like that. So I just had to come in and defend Rauner's struggle.
No, he does have an uphill battle against Madigan and those folks. I don't deny that at all. I can't get past my disappointment in some of the stuff he's gone along with, though. I mean, that doesn't mean there hasn't been some good things that you would expect out of somebody who's a businessman and knows how the world works. I mean, I'm thrilled that he did that. Those are good.
Those are great.
Yep.
And the sanctuary city thing, I think that's Chicago and their will onto Springfield. I think we can all see right through it, and we can call BS when we see BS. And if Bruce is listening, you need to get rid of that stuff today.
But if he had vetoed it, they wouldn't have had enough votes to override his veto. That's the point. He could have stopped that right there, but he didn't. So, Joe, thanks for the call.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I don't think there was enough support over there for that he was risking some sort of a veto override. He could have just stopped it. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. It really is, to enable illegal criminal aliens to keep roaming your streets and not care at all about your tax-paying citizens. 314-969-9797. When we come back, we'll talk about a little bit about the Missouri race here that's shaping up for county executive, because there's some information you need to know about some of these candidates that are on the ballot. That's very important. It's all coming up right here on the Marc Cox Show.
This is the Marc Cox Show. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Clouds giving way to more and more sunshine as we go through this Wednesday. It's windy, though the winds will be fading as we go through the afternoon. And it's quite cold for early March, 39 degrees for the high. It's a bundle-up day. Tonight, clear skies, light winds down to 25. Thursday, partly sunny, light winds and cold, 42. Lots of clouds around on Friday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Watch the Marc Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
Fad diets, magic pills, people holding up pants. If you struggle with obesity, you've seen it all. And there's no magic solution, but there is a medical solution. Weight loss surgery can help you achieve and maintain a healthy weight, and it can alleviate conditions like heart disease, sleep apnea, and more. Take the next step toward the healthier, happier, new self you deserve. The bariatrics team at DePere Hospital will be with you every step of the way. Visit mynewselfbariatrics.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm local tax attorney Lance Drury, and I've represented hundreds of individuals and small businesses in disputes with the IRS. So if you've been contacted for past due tax debt or haven't filed taxes in a while, contact me, Lance Drury. And because each client's case is unique, we'll meet face-to-face and go over your tax situation in detail. Together, we'll develop a strategy to resolve your tax issues. I'm experienced, I know your rights, and I'll give you honest answers. Under my 8-point plan, my firm will file the necessary forms needed to resolve your issue with the IRS, and you won't have to worry about talking to their agents. I'll negotiate on your behalf to get you the lowest settlement allowed by law. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we want to make sure that you're satisfied with the outcome. So call me now, Tax Resolution Attorney Lance Drury, 314-238-7360, or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Head to Mid-America Arms. From firearms to accessories, you won't find a better selection in Mid-America, including guns, rifles, knives, ammo, holsters, cases, and more. From Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Benelli, Sig Sauer, and others. Ask their no-commission sales assistants about their trade-in policy, transfers, rebates, and info about concealed carry and basic firearms training. Mid-America Arms, 8205 Gravois Road, and at midamericaarms.com. That's midamericaarms.com.
At Tactical Shop, we're not a gun shop. We're a social media community with over 2.6 million fans, followers, and subscribers. We sell over 18,000 products from brands you love, like 511, Ballistic Advantage, and Franklin Armory. We sell Black Rifle Coffee. And now we carry Doc Spartan Combat-Ready Ointment, fresh from the show Shark Tank. An all-natural first aid ointment developed on the battlefield and perfect for everyday use. Tactical Shop, I-70 in St. Peters. And our new website at shop.tacticalshop.com.
Jamie Allman in the morning.
Hey, it's a happy Thursday. Kennedy joining us from New York. We've got Ed Henry as well as Jim Talent and our buddies from 4204.
On FM News Talk
97.1. Listening to the Marc Cox Show. Follow Marc on Twitter at MarcCox971.
Oh, great. Odin's Raven. It's official. It's official. A little bit of breaking news for you here. If you are a Missouri basketball fan, your star player, the people everybody got so excited about this year who has been unable to play because of a back surgery he had to have, will play on Thursday in the SEC tournament. So everybody thought he might play this past Saturday, but it's official. He's going to see action in Thursday's game. How much he'll play remains to be seen, but they're going to put him in. His little brother's been playing really well. So if you're excited about SEC basketball, just so you know, if you're driving through the streets of downtown right now, I'm told that Big Blue Nation has already arrived. So the Kentucky fans have shown up. They travel well, and they'll be well represented in the Scottrade Center. Just so you know. Could be another Mizzou-UK matchup on Friday afternoon. So that is your sports update. The SEC tournament is here, ladies and gentlemen. It starts tonight at like 6 o'clock at Scottrade. So if you're coming downtown for some reason, you're going to want to avoid that area. What is that? 14th, 15th, 16th Street right there, just the other side of Union Station toward downtown. Just avoid the Scott Trade Center unless you're coming there to watch basketball.
18th Clark Market.
Yeah. In fact, the
That
tickets
area?
for tonight there were still tickets available. It's all general admission.
Mm-hmm.
And then starting tomorrow, you have to have a assigned seat to get in there, it looks like. So, anyway.
I always disliked that in school.
What's that?
Assigned seating.
Yeah, because you can't sit wherever you want.
It's not-
But
yeah.
imagine the lines. There'll be people getting there really early to try to get good seats, but
I couldn't hang out with my friends.
Let me get to the phones. Tab, thank you for holding on.
Hey, Mark, I love your show. It's always great as usual. Thank you so much for who you are. I have a couple comments and a quick observation, and I'm sure it's been said before, but every time you get these psychopaths from Columbine on up to the present, these idiot liberals, they always want to punish the law-abiding citizens, even though it's horrific, ugly, and so sad that all these people get butchered and killed, as with the Parkland. That's no excuse and no justification to take away the rights of millions of people that own guns and they follow the law. The second thing is, I saw online about a week ago, looking at my email, and I saw these portable bunkers that can be installed in one day. And I'm thinking, why is not every school having these? Like I've heard people, I guess, from Parkland, from Columbine, why things were not done. I always blame for a majority of times when things don't get done on the stupid, lazy politicians in Washington. They're not doing their job. They haven't done their job in decades, and all of them need to be kicked out. There should only be 2 terms. But anyways, they do have these portable bunkers, and they said they are resistant to all gunfire. I didn't get the specs, and I didn't get the name, but it's out there. And then a quick observation, and then I'm done, Mark, is that you got over in Iraq, Afghanistan, they don't have the firepower that our soldiers do. So they have come up with IEDs. If somebody has a desire to kill and maim, they will find a way. So this idiotic reasoning or unreasoning that, we take away the guns, there won't be any more shootings, those people are idiots and fools.
Tab, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Get that off your chest there. I don't know about, a shelter at schools. I mean, I guess that would be a possibility, but then some of these schools are really spread out. You'd have to have more than one. You'd have to have a plan for getting people to them safely. If there's an active shooter in the school, I see some challenges to that. But to his point, we have to harden our schools. We do. So something's got to be done. And Tab touched on the issue there that nothing's being done in Washington, at least not much. And you've got Marco Rubio coming out today pushing some sort of gun violence restraining order, which he thinks might happen. They're going to push for universal background checks. So basically that means that you're not going to be able to, go to sell a gun to your neighbor or whatever the case may be without trying to go through an FFL holder. If you sell a weapon to somebody who's a felon, you've broken the law. But that's not good enough, and it doesn't matter that it wouldn't have had any impact on this case, because that's not what this reaction is about. This is the reaction about standing up and saying, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. Why haven't we done something since the last time? Well, what we should have done many years ago, even after Columbine, was step up the security in our schools. And we've done that a little bit. I mean, there are buzzers on doors and most doors locked during the day and things like that. But there's so much more that's going to have to be done before we finally reach the conclusion that we've fixed this thing. All right. This week, probably tomorrow, maybe Friday, we're going to get another candidate for U.S. Senate on the air, Mr. Minetti. Tony Minetti is going to be in town. We're trying to get him on the air either tomorrow or Friday, so stay tuned for that. And it brings my attention back to the issue of the city-county merger. And I've told you before that this is far from over. There was a time when our existing county executive Steve Stenger was opposed to the idea, and now he's not. He's helped this Better Together group initiate this plan, the report for which will be out soon. And it's not just a report, it's a framework. That's what they're working on. And Steve Stenger is going to be, I'm assuming, running for re-election. One of the people challenging him for re-election is a guy named Marc Mantovani, right? And he's running as a Democrat. We have a Democrat now. We almost had a Republican in there, but Rick Stream lost by a few thousand votes a couple years ago. But here's what you need to know. It looks to me like with Marc Mantovani, as opposed to Stenger, you're out of the fat and into the fire. Have you heard that saying before? Because I pulled up the new. I've seen his ad running on local television, and you got to listen to what he's saying here. It's important because he's going to be a big proponent of a city-county merger. Listen.
This is the hometown of my grandfather, an Italian immigrant, and my father, a two-time Bronze Star veteran who sold paint for a living. The place I grew up, where we worked to become the first generation in our family to go to college, where my wife and I raised our 3 kids, and where I helped grow an innovative, tech-focused local business, creating hundreds of jobs. This is our city and our county, and I love it. But I'm worried about it. St. Louis was once the 10th largest city in the country. Now it's 61st. Amazon didn't even take us seriously. I want to change that. Let's bring the city and county together to enhance investment so we can get the good jobs now passing us by.
Did you hear that? Let's bring the city county together. And when you look at the ad, the words that float across the screen, not a city-county merger. But that's not what he says. He wants to bring the city and county together. This is what you're in for, folks, in the next round of voting for St. Louis County Executive. And it's going to be a major issue. You already know what you're getting with the far left progressive politics in the city of St. Louis. They're desperate. They're running out of people to tax. How much higher can they raise the sales tax in the city of St. Louis? How much higher can they raise the earnings tax in the city of St. Louis? They're hemmed in. People are fleeing the city, and they've got nowhere else to turn but to try to rejoin the county because there are lots of wallets in the county. They'll move in with their 300,000 residents, and those politicians, along with a friendly county executive, whether it's Steve Stenger or this Mantovani guy, and they will try to put this deal together. I just wanted you to hear that in case you hadn't, because it's coming. Get involved in this issue. Go to the Stop City County Merger Facebook page. Get involved in it. Find out what's going on here. Because if not, you're going to suddenly be living in one of 9 boroughs with your fate controlled in Clayton. That's where they want to go. This Mantovani guy is the former chairman of the Partnership for Downtown St. Louis, just so you know. Board of Directors of Downtown STL. He's one of the people who wants this to happen. Just take my word for it. And I'd be happy to have him on the air sometime to explain it. But he tells you in his ad, you have to listen when people tell you what they're going to do. That's what he wants to do, just so you know. We're going to have to find an alternative to that. Anyway, Tony Colombo's in the house. Sorry, was on a little bit of a rant there.
You're good. I love that rant. I'm 100% with you. Prediction, though, ultimately, however long it is down the road, are they successful?
They're going to keep chipping away at it. The city's they're desperate for something like that. They've got to figure out somewhere else to get a stream of income, and the county's just sitting there.
Yeah,
a big fat cat waiting for them. Yep. In my opinion, that's what it gets down to. It's not about me not wanting the city to do well, but 45 or 50 years of leadership in a vacuum.
Do well on your own accord.
Put them in the situation they're in my opinion.
Sweet 16 today on the Dave Glover Show. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. We'll look forward to that. Tony, thank you very much. Appreciate you popping in. And folks, that does enjoy the basketball games if you're going tonight, if you're in town. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, noon to 3.
FM News Talk 97.1.
Get ready for the 2018 season. Cardinals single game tickets are on sale now and start at just $5. The upcoming season is filled with great matchups, including 3 weekend series with the Cubs, interleague play against the Royals and Indians,